Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to today's session. Please confirm that you can hear me clearly.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, fantastic. Okay, so once again, welcome everyone. My name is Joan Diabwa and I'm a data associate at Analytics. It is absolutely fantastic to have each and every one of you here today. And I'm definitely sure we're going to have a wonderful time together, right? So today's session, we're going to be taking you through how to land a job in Canada. All right. So I hope we're all excited for today's session. And on the call today, taking us through this process is going to be our very own founder in the person of Adeza Suleiman. And then we're also going to be having a top expert who is working at Law Depot currently in Canada, take you through the nitty-gritty of the market. And he's also going to be speaking today, and he's Olugbemi Akarigo. All right. So I hope we're all excited. If we're ready for today's session, let me see a yeah in the chat box, or sending your favorite emoji, or I am ready to get a job. Okay. So I get to know that we're excited, we're prepped. Okay, fantastic. Oluwatade says he's ready. Sunday is ready. I'm loving the energy. Okay, keep it coming, keep it coming. Akin says, yeah, that's fantastic. Great. So I believe we're all ready to listen to how to land that job, high-paying job in Canada, okay? So before we begin, I'm just going to give a brief of what 10 Analytics is, just in case you don't know what we do. All right, so 10 Analytics is an educational tech firm, and we pride ourselves in helping people, especially those in the Black community, to attain industry relevant skills, all right, in order to gain high paying jobs. Like the session we're having today, right? We're going to be taking you through how to get a job. And then we're experts in this field. We have facilitators who have worked in top industries like Bank of America, KPMG. So you're in safe hands, all right? And we've also helped over 500 persons across the globe, across the continent, to land job roles in the tech space. So you're definitely in the right place. We've got you covered. And our founder is going to be giving you more details on what we do. Okay, so I'm going to be calling on our founder, Adeza. Adeza, it's great to have you here. Welcome.
All right, thank you very much for that, Joan. Super excited to be here and glad to see over 85 people on the call. And we're expecting more people to join. So I believe as the session goes on, we'll have more people join. Fantastic. Now, before we start, am I the only one who can't hear her voice? Just to be sure you can all hear me, if you can hear me, please just type a yes into the chat so I know that I am audible. Fantastic. Oluwatobiloba can hear me. All right, so for those having audio issues, I think Damilola, you can please just help them out. They might have to log in again, and let's see if that helps to address the challenges they currently have. Welcome everybody, and welcome to 10 Analytics. I'll be sharing my slides and then we'll walk from the slides. We're going to have an amazing session today, super amazing session, right? And all I need from you is your rapt attention. We have a superstar on the call. His name is Olugbemi. Olugbemi will be walking us through how to land a high-paying tech job in Canada. For those of you in Canada, for those of you planning to go to Canada, Olugbemi currently is a business data analyst. I'll give his introduction later, all right? But let's dive into the session and let's see what we have in stock. But Olugbemi will show you, I'll walk you through step by step what to do, what you need to take note of, from your CV to how to apply to jobs, to the website you need to apply to jobs, and so on and so forth. So you want to go into those sessions or into those countries, into those interviews with the right mindset and with the understanding of how to approach different job recruitment processes. All right, so let's get started with our session. Like I said, Joan gave a brief introduction about what we do and who we are at Analytics. But let's elaborate a little bit more on that. Right, so that's Olugbemi. You can see my slide clearly. That's myself and Olugbemi. So I'm the founder of Analytics. And what do we do at Analytics? All right, so Analytics is an educational technology company and edtech that focuses on helping people of the Black community to get into tech. Now, one of the things you'd find is you go into different countries. I've worked for organizations across the globe, and you would find the tech roles dominated by the Asians, the Indians to be more specific. All right, they have been able to crack the code, to know the right things to do, to take advantage of those type of jobs. So what we are trying to do and what we've been doing over the years is changing the narrative from Africans and people of the Black community, focusing on doing the menial jobs, riding Uber, Deliveroo, DoorDash, care jobs, jobs ordinarily you would not want to do, with no disrespect to any profession. But I'm just saying, what we've been doing over the years is to create that awareness, to also let you know that there are so many other opportunities available within the space and across different areas within the tech ecosystem. We offer services within the areas of data analytics to business analysis, data engineering, car platform engineering, financial analytics, HR analytics, and full stack data science. Now, one of the things we pride ourselves on, which you'll start to see from today when Olugbemi comes on board, to walk you through all the different nitty-gritty of what you have to do to land a job. We bring the best of the best professionals within the space, just like Olugbemi today. Olugbemi is a product of Analytics. He's an alumnus, right? He joined our program. He's done excellently well. And Olugbemi is a superstar, landing different job offers. And he decides on, okay, I want to go for this. I don't want to go for that. I'll prefer to go for this because of the remuneration and the opportunities for growth available within that country, and will come to share his experience and also share strategies that you can also take advantage of. So that's what we've been doing for the past couple of years. And even though I haven't introduced myself, I'm a data analytics expert. I've worked across 5 different sectors within the span of my career, from professional services within the financial services sector to educational technology, to sports, to energy, the automobile sector as well. And I've trained well over 8,500 people, all right? Coincidentally, just like Olugbemi, my first degree, I think Olugbemi is also industrial chemistry, but my first degree was in industrial chemistry, all right? So one of the first misconceptions we always try to, dispel almost immediately is I must study something tech-related for me to get into tech, but that's the wrong narrative. Okay, the best of the best professionals we've seen within the space did not study anything related to tech. So that's what I've been doing for the past close to a decade experience across management consulting and data analytics. And you have the co-founder, Ifemena, who also has close to a decade experience leading some of the top organizations across the globe, across Europe, the UK, and Ireland, right? Ifemena would also, work with you to help you navigate that journey. Like I said, over the last, 2 years, what we've been able to achieve is help over 500 people make that transition from the classroom to getting their first jobs in tech. Okay, so there's always that divide. How do I make the switch? So I've learned all the skills I think I can learn. How do I switch into getting a job, even though I have no experience? So that's always the difficult nut to crack. Okay, so what you'll be learning in this session today and what you'll be learning in what you get when you become a part of Analytics is the ability to crack that code, the ability to bridge the gap between the classroom and what you learn and getting the job, hitting the ground running right on the first day. And of course, when you've had a couple of when you've had successes within a particular space, you've been able to achieve some level of success, you start to get recognition. And we're recognized by different dailies across the globe from last year. The Business Day featured us highlighting how we've been able to help Africans land tech jobs across 4 different continents. We held hackathon sessions from 2022 We held one this year as well. The one for last year was covered by Nairametrics, where you still get to see all of that and what it was all about. But essentially, we had 5 people who came tops, and then they presented their findings to a case study provided to them for them to provide solutions to. All right. Now, 5 people won big in that hackathon, which was covered by different dailies, the Business Day, Vanguard, and 1 million was shared across the 5 different finalists. And they did absolutely phenomenally well. And of course, PR Fire, which is a major publication in the UK, also featured the work we've been doing, reiterating our commitments to helping Africans get into tech, especially within Europe. And one of the amazing things we also saw and we also tried to do is identify that there is a gap and we don't have enough ladies within the tech ecosystem. All right. Now, only 25% of women, only 25% of the roles available within tech are occupied by women. Only 25%. So we set out in 2023 to change that narrative step by step. And one of the first things we did was to initiate something called the Women in Tech Scholarship that saw over 300 women take advantage of scholarships available to get into tech. Okay, so when you get the slide at the end of today's session, take out time to read the amazing work we've been doing. This was featured by Tech Cabal. All right, so you can take out time and read the different amazing stuff we've been doing. And of course, we also held a hackathon for our alumni. All right, because you've learned your skills. How do you compete among other professionals within that same space? Okay, so we held a hackathon this year, and $1,000 was up for grabs. 3 people came tops, and of course, apart from the $1,000 they had as the cash prize, they also had the opportunity to publish their findings and publish their presentation across one of the leading publications here in the UK, all right, which that team is led by Sebastian. Sebastian is an AI ethics researcher in the UK working for Cambridge. Okay, we had Michelle. Michelle was also one of the panel members who sat to judge presentations that were made during the hackathon. We had Sadiq. Sadiq works with Google as a customer engineer, as an analytics customer engineer with Google. And we also had Olamide, who works with the Wema Bank, and he's the head of data and analytics at Wema Bank. So what we try to do is to ensure that apart from what you learn, you're also able to get value from the skills you've gained and compare your skills to other professionals within the space. And when you get the slide, like I mentioned, take out time, watch, it's on YouTube. You can go on YouTube and watch the amazing stuff and the amazing presentations made by people that participated during this session. So what's our program today going to look like? So we have 4 key areas, all right? First of all, Olugbemi would walk us through the in-demand skills in Canada. Okay, so if you're in Canada today, for example, or you are planning to move to Canada, you reside anywhere across the globe, and the plan is for you to move to Canada. You want to apply to jobs in Canada. Olugbemi, just like you some time ago, was not in Canada, but today he's a superstar when it comes to applying to jobs, getting job opportunities, and leveraging the skills that he has to make the best out of what is available within the job market. So he'll walk you through all the strategies and all those steps. Okay, secondly, Olugbemi would also show how to search and land jobs within the Canadian job market itself. So once you've identified the in-demand tech jobs, how do you then apply to get those jobs? What are the key considerations you need to take note of? And so on and so forth. Then I'll come to take the last 2 aspects where I'll be showing you how to position yourself. Okay, so yes, you have jobs available, but then the jobs are only as good as your skills. So you have jobs every year that goes on field simply because you don't have people with the requisite skills to fill those jobs. Okay, so how do you position yourself for success? How do you position yourself to take advantage of the jobs available within the job market? And then I'll speak on the Tenalytics upcoming program and then the internship program we have available for those who passes through our training program. All right. And today our facilitator, like I mentioned, is Olugbemi Akarigo. He's currently on the call with us. And Olugbemi is a business data analyst with the Law Depot. He's done amazing stuff, close to a decade experience in banking, education, professional services, and he has skills and expertise in the use of different tools. Okay, and we'll speak about some of these tools and how they've been critical to him getting the jobs he's been able to get over the last few months. All right. Olugbemi also takes time out to train and help other people. So what Olugbemi does is absolutely fantastic. All right. He's gone through the system. So we also bring Olugbemi back to help other people who are trying to make that transition and who are trying to make the switch. Okay, so he's been able to do it. So, and this is where you start to get better results, simply because what you're trying to achieve, you can see directly somebody who has walked through the same path you're trying to walk. All right, so you're trying to get a job in Canada. Somebody who has done the same journey, he has completed the journey you are just about to start. Okay, so he'll be the one to walk you through this session, walk you through this program, and then show you all the other benefits you have to get when you become a part of Tenalytics. So Olugbemi, if you are there and you can hear me, before Olugbemi comes up, Olugbemi, before you come up, if you are excited to hear from Olugbemi and also get to learn from Olugbemi's wealth of experience, type "I am ready" into the chat. Type "I am ready." I am ready. If you are ready to hear from Olugbemi, you want to also tap from his wealth of experience. I am ready, Emmanuel. Super ready. Super, super ready. I'm also excited to hear from Olugbemi as well and also get to hear what he has to say and his wealth of knowledge and experience is about to share with us. Fantastic. We are all ready to hear from Olugbemi. Absolutely brilliant. So Olugbemi, if you are there and you can hear me, you can simply just unmute yourself and put on your video so I spotlight you.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, Olugbemi. Just what I'm going to do quickly is to mute everybody, okay, so that we don't have distractions. So Olugbemi, I've asked you to unmute yourself if you can, please.
Yeah.
All right. Absolutely fantastic. So that's the man behind the picture. The man on the slide, you can see on my slide, is right in front of us. So Olugbemi, over to you. I'm going to hand over the session to you. So please just walk us through all the different key aspects that we need to take note of, like we have listed. So for those who wants to get high-paying jobs in Canada, either in Canada, planning to move to Canada, what do they need to take note of and how can they leverage from your experience to getting success out of the space itself? So I'll hand over to you, Olugbemi.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Good to the people in Canada. Good evening. Those on the other side of the continent, I say good whatever time you are in. My name is Olugbemi, but you can just call me Gbemi. And I'll be taking us through today's session. So I used to be a chemist, then I found myself in the bank and, decided that I think it's time to take it to the next level and go into tech. And coincidentally, I found Tenalytics on Instagram. That's early in 2022. And I reached out to the admin via DM and told them, I was interested. And I registered with the April 2022 cohort. I think I remember April 25. It was on a Saturday. That was when we started. So the program was for about 3 months. We did 1 month internship where we, everything we had learned during that period, and we put it into practice, and we did a lot of capstone projects that are part of the things I showcase on my portfolio projects now. And we finished the program around sorry, let me count again. April, May, June. Finished around July, and I was able to get a job at the end of August, though I resumed in September, but I got the job actually at the end of August. I must tell you, it's a lot of hard work. Those 3 months were very, very, very intensive. Apart from the classes, make sure all the assignments that were given, I make sure I did them. I put a lot of hard work to it, I must say. It was a very intense period, and thankfully I was able to get a good result from it. So it's possible for you to start tech and land a job all within a year. I did it, and I'm very sure you can do it as well. So quickly, I'm going to take us through the journey of how to apply and land a job, from the application stage to the interview stage, things you need to know, things you need to do, and ultimately help you get your first job here in Canada. So when I came to Canada, the first thing I kept hearing about was the Canadian CV format, the Canadian CV style. Yeah, so it's a thing, and it's real. There's a format, there's a Canadian CV style you must follow when you are applying. For those that are in Canada, they already know. But for those that are planning to come, yes, there's a Canadian CV format. Maybe I'll share a template at the end of the session, so you guys can just tweak your CV with it and start your application. Okay, let me share my screen. Yeah, please let me know if you can see my screen. Let me bring up the chat box. Please confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. So I used to have a CV like this before. I like fine things now. So I did a very fine CV. My picture was here, as in styled and everything. It was looking beautiful. But it's not really about fine CV. Fine CV that is not giving you any. Okay, let me zoom in. Fine CV that is not getting you any job is very, very, very useless. So I used to have a CV like this, very, very fine and looking good. Digital picture, so clear, photoshopped and looking good. But I couldn't, like I said, I couldn't get anything with it the first time I came here. And I saw a lot of different CV styles that I followed, and until I eventually got something that worked for me. So here in Canada, it's not only in Canada, all over, there's something we call ATS. Maybe you guys have heard it before, ATS. So it's like an alternative to searching through CVs manually. So instead of having your HR professionals looking through your CV manually, your CV is passed through a system where the ATS system looks at the CV, looks at keywords, looks at some things, and it will now sieve some CVs, and those ones that meet the predefined criteria that has been set on it. Those are the ones it will eventually forward to the recruiter, and from those ones they will now reach out to people and call them. So what I noticed is that CVs like this that have lots of formats, lots of pictures like this, they usually don't scale through this ATS system. So most times when you get CV like this, if I have a CV like this and I try to copy, how you will know it's not performing well? If you try to copy this thing and paste it on a notepad, on an ordinary notepad, you will see that you won't get the actual text, the actual contents of the CV. So it's the same, it's going to be the same way for that ATS system. It's not going to be able to, get the wordings of your CV. And once it can't read your CV properly, it will just discard your CV. So when you have CVs like this, it's very, very hard for you to beat the ATS system. So there's a format called the Wharton format. Let me put it in the chat box. WHARTON. You can look it up. So it's It's something very, very plain. Let me share mine so you can see. Can you see? This one is just straightforward. No, let me try to, blur out some information. Just a second. Where's this? Upload it, just a second. Yeah, almost done. Bringing it up here now. So, yeah, just want to make it visible to us. Okay, let me bring this here so it's clearer. Can you see? You still need me to zoom in? Can you see this, or do you need me to zoom in? It's not working like I expected. Okay, let me just use this. Okay, so let me bring in this. Okay, good. So this is the Wharton format I told you about. It's very, very simple. Please, can you see the CV up on the screen now?
Yes.
Okay, good. So this is very, very simple. This is also the Canadian format that they talked about. So it usually starts with your name, your information. Then you have your professional summary, your skills, followed by your experience. So we'll share this format with everyone, so you can just tweak and then adjust your education and your professional certification at the end. So from that fine looking CV that I had before, I had to redo everything and get it into this format. And even before now, each of this, I had them underlined before. I mean, it just looked finer to me. Like I said, I like having it very fine. So I had it underlined before. So somebody also mentioned that if you have words underlined like this, when this thing is being passed through the system, every line that the system passes through is going to see it as an end of page, and you can just skip through everything that comes after the underline that we have. So I had to remove the underline and make it as plain as possible. So this line that you're seeing here, it's an image, it's not a real line. So that's why I kept this one here. So I have my name, phone number, email, address, then just your LinkedIn profile. If you have a website, a portfolio website, we are going to talk about this also. If you have a portfolio website, just put it here. Then everything, just try to leave it in plain text. Don't over format. Make it as simple as possible. If I copy and paste this thing, if I copy this now, if I copy everything here and paste it on a notepad, see, it's going to come out clean. Everything, all the information I have on that CV It's the same thing I will see here. So that format, that excessive formatting will not change all the things that I have here. So everything will be fine. Everything will come out well. So that's the reason why you need a very, very simple format. That's number one. So style of the CV is one thing. Another thing that is very, very, very important is the content of your CV. So you have a job. We are going to do a practical demonstration. We are going to do it in a bit. Let me just quickly go over it. You have like a job that you want to apply for. You have your CV. Definitely your CV will not meet all the duties on that job advert. But there's a way you need to make tailor your CV to fit that job description. So before we go into that, for your CV, I see a lot of people on their CV, they just put duties like, I was responsible for this, I was doing this, I was doing this. That's not really the style of CV you should have. Your CV should be with Y. I used Y. I used X to do Y to get Z. I used X to solve Y, which resulted to Z. That's the style every point in your CV should have. For instance, this is an example. We can just let me make this one very simple. Used Power BI to, this is our X. Power BI is our X here. We use Power BI to automate monthly post-purchase reports. This is our Y, which resulted to what? Cutting down resource time by 32%. So this is our X, using it to solve Y. Let me zoom in so we can see very well. So this is that XYZ format. If you just have it in your head, I used X to solve Y, which resulted to Z. So if you have, this is your X, you use Power BI to automate monthly post-purchase report. This is our X, and which led to what? Our Z. So this is the outcome. What you used, on what you used it, and the result of the outcome of what you did. So this should be the points in every of your, as in all the points you list on your CV. You should have things like this. Don't put duty, don't put your responsibilities. Just try to make it as simple as this. Then we get to the keywords. Someone's writing on the screen. Okay, please stop writing on the screen. Thank you. Okay, so then we get to how to tailor your CV to match the particular job description. So there are many, many sites. If you decide to use, your intuition to just pick the keywords you know, and start making your CV, start tailoring your CV towards that direction, it's going to take you time. And this job application, they say it's all about, it's a game of numbers, but I believe it's a game of quality numbers. It's not about just throwing your CV to every job application you see. Try to make everyone count. And how can you make it count without wasting too much time? Because if you spend 3 or 4 hours to tweak a particular CV and you do it for maybe 2 jobs, maybe you can't do more than 2 or 3 jobs in a day. At the end of the day, the 3 jobs, you don't receive any call from those 3 jobs. You get disappointed. If you do it for a week, by the following week, you get tired. So how can you throw out lots of CVs and make sure every CV you throw out is a quality CV? How can you achieve that? So there are some sites that can help you. Number one is JobScan. Some of you that are emeritus in the job search markets, I know you know about JobScan. Some people have searched job just like me before. We've searched everything, so you know the site. There's another one, CV Scan UK. So we're going to use both. I think, yeah, we'll use both. But for me, I prefer JobScan, and I'll tell you why. I've tried CV Scan before, and this is how JobScan works. Once it will give you a space to paste the job role, paste your CV. It will now compare your CV and the job role and give you a percentage match, that how your CV, the rate at which your CV matches the job role. And it works like the ATS system. The ATS, it will go through your CV and give a match. So those ones that are maybe lower than 70%, the HR will not even look at them. Maybe the HR will just say, go through these CVs. Anyone that has like maybe an 80% match, those are the ones I want to see. So the ATS will go through your system. Number one, if your CV does not even have a good format, it will first throw out your CV. Number two, it will now go through your CV and match the words, match the keywords. If you now have a high percentage, those are the CV it will forward eventually to the recruiter, that the recruiter will now, use her discretion to make to make a choice. I don't know why I'm saying half for recruiter. Just like all the recruiters I've met are ladies. Usually that's all the recruiters I've met are ladies. So automatically I use that for recruiters. Anyway, so I prefer to use JobScan. And because when I try to compare the performance between JobScan and CVScan UK, sometimes CVScan will give me 80-something% match. And when I put it on JobScan will be giving me like 48. And most times, when I look at it, those missing keywords, I see that JobScan is more accurate. So I really don't use that CVScan UK. Apologies to the UK people. I really don't use this CVScan UK. For me, it exaggerates your performance, the performance of your CV, and you think you are good. Just be applying and you not get any callback. So JobScan is very good, but JobScan is paid. So when you register, they give you I think you can only have 5 free scans. After those 5 scans, then they will ask you to pay. But now there's always a way around. I have about 6 or 7 emails now. After exhausting the first one, 5 scans on this one, I use another email. Thank God, before I use all my email, before I finish using all my email, I was able to get 1 job. So if you open 7 emails, if you don't get, I'm sure before you exhaust 7 emails, you get a job. I want to assure you. So use JobScan. Use 5 scans per CV, 5 scans per email. You can have multiple emails just for it. But if you have the money and you can pay, I don't think you should go through the stress of opening several email addresses now. Just pay. And you can borrow. When you get the job, you pay the person back. Just pray that you get a job, because they will drag you if you don't have a job. You don't get a job later. But you can, if you believe so much that this job I'll get it, borrow the money. It's like is it $89 safe? Just borrow the money, pay for the JobScan, get the job, then you pay the person later. Assuming JobScan can allow you to pay after job now, it would have been very, very easy. So enough of talk. Let's go through JobScan. Hope it's not an email that I've used before. This one will not give me free scan again. Let's see. Okay. Let's look at it. It's like I've not used this email before. Let me just use the incognito mode so they will not know that it's this same guy that is coming again. Okay, no, let's just use this one. They can't know it's me. I did not log in. They'll give me free scan before they catch us. So let's do 1 or 2 before they catch us and send us out. So let's go to LinkedIn. Now, before we do this, LinkedIn, for me, LinkedIn is underrated. Like, I know there are lots of job sites and all that, but LinkedIn is very, very, very good, and a lot of people don't even know. A lot of recruiters reach out to me too, and I hope we have enough time, so I will talk about how you can optimize your LinkedIn profile too and get visibility. Let recruiters see you. So maybe we'll quickly talk about that too. So let's quickly go through. So let's go to let's go to Indeed. Let's go to Indeed and let's look for any job. Let's put data analysts. Okay, let's look at this one, for example. This is the job description. So what I like to do from this, if you look at this part, and they said, what will you do? What you will do. That's why I like copying it from. And I'll just copy here. But sometimes there are some let's copy from full job description. There are some keywords here, like you see now, this MS Power BI is a keyword. Let me copy. We don't need benefits. Let's get job. We'll fight for benefits later. Let's stop on skill. So now I've copied the job. I can just open it here. I've pasted my CV on, on Notepad now. I can see that it's okay. I'm pasting the job duty here. I want to quickly point your attention to something. Look at my CV. Skills here. Can you see what I have here? I just have Power BI. Sometimes you have Microsoft Power BI. Look at the job description here. MS Power BI. Do you think they are the same thing? Or do you think the system will read them as the same thing? No, but you will be like, I applied to this role. They only needed Power BI and they did not call me back. And I know how to use Power BI. But on your CV, it could be Microsoft Power BI. And on that site is MS Power BI. You know, there are different things. Sure, you understand. There are different things, MS Power BI, Microsoft Power BI. So how would you, so that job scan will help you, will point your attention to things like that. It will show, when it's listing out the keywords, you are going to see that MS Power BI is missing in your CV. Though you have Microsoft Power BI, but they are not the same. For ATS, yeah, if it's a human being that is going through it, yeah, they will know. But ATS is just reading what is seen. And for it, MS Power BI is different from Microsoft Power BI. So there are differences. So you see one of the reasons why sometimes you don't get called back. So now I've copied the job description. Let's copy it here and let's go to our let's go to upload resume. No, we don't need to upload. I think we can just copy and paste. Okay, let me upload. Let me go to, okay. Where is the CV again? I have too many folders. Personal. Where's this thing? Don't embarrass me on live. This thing. Oh. Sorry, sometimes my laptop does not cooperate with me. Okay. Can you see, if you look at my CV, you can see this thing fine. See all these jobs that I applied for. They show me.
Maybe you have the paste resume as text below, right at the bottom of that box.
Okay, yeah, I can see. I just wanted to point this out because you can see all this thing. This for 2022. If I now open 2023 now, you see all the jobs that I've applied for. Facts. But we'll get them last year. Okay, since we have it here, let's just paste. Look at paste resume here. Thank you for pointing attention to that. Okay, where's this notepad? Let's copy it. So for the CV, I usually like to, copy from that professional summary part. You don't need to put the name and the address and everything. So just copy and paste. See me, even before I even put my GPD, maybe to let them to enter the recruiter with theirs to nothing. I even forgot to remove it. I'll remove it after I finish the program. What did I not try? Put GPO, even you put it that it has been verified by West. Still nothing. What have we not tried? Okay, so after putting the CV here, now we've pasted the CV, click on continue. See, can you see it's analyzing our CV? It has, and from there, even from analyzing the CV, look at the sample job description it gave us. You can already tell that, yeah. So that's the same way the ATS tool will work. It's kind of smart like that, but not smart enough to know the difference between Microsoft Power BI and MS Power BI. That's the annoying part. So we copy the job description again, and we'll paste it. Then we scan. They've got me. See me. They said I should log in. That gets me. They got me. Let me see. Who has? Is there someone that has not registered before? Let's try. These people fall my hands. I should have used the incognito mode. Let me try. They should give me free scan. See the way they just allow me continue since so. As if they are going to give me free scan. They are very, very stingy with the scan. They will just allow you, after 5 scans, they'll just catch you. Okay. We can quickly use this one before the thing. I think it has allowed us to, it has given us one more almost can. Let's quickly copy. So let me do it again. I've copied the CV, the resume, paste it here. Let's go back and grab the job description. Paste it here. Please scan. See, and the thing is that even after, you don't even need to pay. After you use an email and you don't pay, after like 2 or 3 months, they'll call you back again. They'll give you 5 free scans. So if you're using many mails, before you go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, before you reach the 10th email, they will give you another 5 free scan on the first one that you started with. So you just be going around like that. So look at my match rate now, 44%. And you'll be angry that you applied, they did not call you back. Can you see? 44%. Who's going to take 44%? Or it will even get to the recruiter's front at all. The ATS will just deny you. It won't get to the recruiter at all. Can you see it's 44%? And it's telling me the things I need to do to increase this mark. It's telling me to put my contact info. Okay, so I think I will need to include the contact info here. Then in the job description, it said it's good to put the name of the company, but I don't think this one is very necessary. But put your contact info. Your CV should have your, your contact info and everything. And look at the most important part. The job description add what? Let me zoom in. So because this part is very important, and I really want us to see. Look at it. Data collection was mentioned in that job description 3 times. Yeah, I'm a data analyst. Of course, I will do data collection, but it's not ATS business. It's not his business. ATS does not send you. It's not his business. It wants you to put that data collection there. And because data collection is missing on my CV, it's going to rank me low. It's going to rank me low. So I'm supposed to have data collection. Data collection was mentioned 3 times. So I should try to mention data collection in my CV at least 3 times. Data mining was mentioned 2 times. I didn't mention it at all in my CV. Can you see? So once you now go back to your CV and put, okay, let's go back. Let's just quickly do, since we have 5 free scans, 44%, right? Data collection is missing. Let me note it down. Data collection is missing. Let me go back to that word part. I just want to show you the difference. Let's just put data collection anywhere. Since we are not doing anything, let's just put it. Don't just put it anywhere like this, or you put it in a sentence. Though. But I'm just trying to demonstrate for us to see. Data collection is missing. Data mining is missing. Oh, what happened? Oh, wow. Okay, let me include data mining. Data mining is missing. Data mining is missing. Let's write it 2 times. Data mining is missing. I think API was also missing. I don't know if it's API or APIs. Let's just put all of them. So let's copy it. Before it gave us 44%, let's try to upload and rescan. Let's change everything that is here and put the new one that I've added, the data mining and everything to. Let's see. So we have 4 scans left. Let's scan again. Let's see if our score will even move at all from that 44%. Can you see? Just by putting data mining and putting data collection, can you see we now have 51%? So the desirable rate is, just try to get it to, that desirable score is around 80%. Try to get it, if you can see it here, the recommended match rate is around 75%, but me, I like to do 80% now, sure you understand. So try to improve on it until you get to around 80%, then go and submit your CV to that job, go and apply on that job role. It's going to really help you. So if you look at it, Sage, I don't know what Sage will be doing in data analysis, but they said Sage is needed, fine. Coding was mentioned, but it's not showing on my CV. So I need to find a way how I can add coding into one of the duties I listed out in my CV. Try to use the word that coding will go well with. Try to use a word that dealer will go well with. And can you see that they've graded out some of the other words that you need? They want you to pay. So you understand? They want you to pay. That's why they've graded out some of these ones. So if you can afford to pay, all these ones that they grade out, So you have access to them. They are quite a lot. It's quite a lot. So if you put all of them, I'm sure your CV will go to around 80, almost on 80 something or 90 something percent match. So that's how to use JobScan to get this. And other things, soft skills that were mentioned in that job role that are not on your CV. Attention to detail. For some reasons, attention to detail is not on my CV. So it was mentioned twice in that job role. You need to put it in your CV. So once you do all this, your CV will get to about 80 something percent. Then you can apply. You will definitely beat the ATS system, and the ATS will get you will get you in front of the recruiter. So that's how to optimize your CV and get your CV well tailored to the job role. Please, how many minutes do I have, Mom? I think I used to talk a lot, so before I overtalk, let me know how many minutes I have left. So I know how to,
No, all right, go ahead. I think we have up to 30 minutes for your part.
Okay.
All right.
All right, thank you. So, okay, I still have some interesting things to show you guys. So I will quickly go over this. So this is about JobScan. Get the JobScan. If you can pay, please pay. And if people can form a syndicate now and pay together, and all of you just share, search for job. You just want to finish using the login. You borrow the login. At least it's better that way. If 4 people paid for $89, then once you get a job, you need the remaining people that are still jobless to be paying the money. So that's another way you can share with people and get, because it's going to save you a lot of stress. You can get access to all this instead of trying to figure it out on your own. And the thing is that the more you use this JobScan, if you look at the job role, automatically, even without JobScan, you'll be able to identify keywords yourself. I think I used to do that. So without JobScan, I'll be able to identify keywords. By the time I now upload it to JobScan, I'll have like 70%, something percent match already. That's when I'll just do a little bit of tweaking, get a little bit of idea from JobScan to just complete it and get myself to around 80%. So it's another thing you can do. So we've completed the style of CV. I've said it, use that Watson format style, and I'm going to share the templates. So they're going to get it across to you. Then try to tailor your CV. Make sure the keywords in the job description are on your CV, and JobScan can help you achieve that. And there's one annoying thing, something that I hate. After spending hours tailoring your CV, you now see, when you now want to apply, they now tell you cover letter. That thing can pain. After spending time, and I hate, I don't know, I hate writing cover letter. I hate it because it's almost the same amount of time that I spend writing CV and I'll go back writing cover letter. I hate it. So sometimes, but the thing is, it's logical. If I have 100 applicants for a role, and out of the 100 applicants, 10 people, let's say 30 people put in cover letters, you'll just focus on those ones that put in cover letters first. Let's say all the 100 people, ATS qualified 100 people, gave me 100 people. And out of the 100 people that the ATS gave me, 30 of them have cover letters. To make my work less stressful, I'll just focus on those ones that put cover letter first. After then, if I don't see anybody that I'm interested in, that's when I will now look at those people that didn't submit cover letter. So cover letter will make you stand out. Even if they say optional, it's good to put cover letter, but it's very stressful. So how do we do it? I'll show you another trick. You know ChatGPT, you've seen ChatGPT before. Have you seen this in action? I will show you how you can leverage ChatGPT for cover letter. Let's go to, let's log in. It's very easy. You can just go to chats.openai.com and, or just search ChatGPT and see, I've used questions to finish his life. Can you say the question that I've asked? But we'll ask another question later. So I use ChatGPT for a lot of things, even my job. I use ChatGPT a lot. So it's something you need to leverage too. So how do you use ChatGPT? Look at what I will do. I will come here. I will say, hi. So I will not be rude now. We will not just say, write cover letter for me. Don't be rude. Let's say hi. So I say hi. It will answer me. How can I assist you today? Say, I will now say, help write a compelling cover letter that shows qualified. So I'll say, write a compelling letter that shows I'm qualified for this job role. Okay. Then I'll say, okay, write a cover letter using my resume. So let's put it here, using my resume that shows I'm qualified for this job role. So I'll now say, here is my resume. Let me put the quotes here. So I will just copy I'll just copy my resume and paste everything here in between these quotes. Then here is my resume, and here is the job role. So put quotes here. So for the resume, we now go to that word pad now. Let's copy the resume. Paste it here. Then the one that says, and here's the job role. That's the second column, the second quotation mark that you opened. Copy and paste the job role there. And press enter. Sit back and watch it do the magic. Good. So let's come here. Just copy. Now let me show you what ChatGPT has written. I don't need all this address and everything. Let me see if I can make these things, if I can zoom in a little. Okay, can you see? I am writing to express my strong interest in the data analyst position at this. I don't want to read everything, but this thing is so beautiful. The first day I tried it, I was like, Moda, as in when I was reading my profile from this ChatGPT, this thing, my head was sweating. Like, if this reach any recruiter, as in the recruiter must pick me. So ChatGPT will give you very nice, customized, you as in you will employ yourself, even if you see the cover letter, really nice stuff without efforts, like this, just copy and paste. ChatGPT will give you. And if you can do this in under 1 minute and you have cover letter for all your applications, it's going to increase your chances now. So that's what I did. There's one job recently that I just did. In fact, normally any job that is 1 week old, I usually don't apply. But that day it was closing that day. I just tried. I just copy. I had finished applying. It didn't just say what's the name? Cover letter. I was angry, then I remembered my pardon and ChatGPT. I just did copy and paste within 1 minute now. I just copied it from the WordPad, and because there was an option to paste the cover letter on that website instead of uploading, I just copied and pasted there, and they called me. They called me back to move to the next stage with them. So it's very, very, very easy. You don't need all this. You don't need all this. What's the name? You don't need stress. You just need to work smart. So you just need to work smart and make sure. Can you see that ChatGPT now, when it's using this cover letter, on my own profile, it's Microsoft Power BI that I have, but can you see that it's used MS Power BI that is on that job group. So ChatGPT is very smart. It will make sure the one that will make you gain favor when it comes to that job. That's the one it will select. ChatGPT knows MS Power BI is Microsoft Power BI. So ChatGPT decided to use MS Power BI that was used on the job role to increase your chances. So that's another way of getting an advantage over others. Get a good cover letter. ChatGPT is going to help you. That is absolutely free. It's not like JobScan. It's free. You can just register and enjoy yourself. So that's how to beat ATS system. And the next step is, how do you actually, after beating ATS system, you're now in front of the recruiter. How do you actually impress the recruiter? That's where analytics comes in. it's good for you to have a very, very solid portfolio. And once Analytics takes you through the training, they usually end with capstone projects. The capstone project I did with Analytics, those were the first ones I uploaded on my, I'm going to show us my portfolio site now, and you'll see some of the projects I did with Analytics, some of them are there. So you need capstone projects, and you might be wondering, how do I go about getting capstone projects? Once you register and you go through the program, at the end of the program, you will do lots of projects. So those projects, once you upload them, because projects is like showing the recruiter what you can do. It's different from CV. The recruiter is seeing it live, is seeing what you've done. They know your ability by looking at your, by looking at your projects. So that's the advantage of having projects. So when you have projects like that, it makes you, after getting through the ATS system, it makes you impress the recruiter. So one thing is to beat the ATS system. Another thing is to actually impress the recruiter, which is why you need lots of solid portfolio projects. And once you have those portfolio projects, you can't just let them sit on your laptop and expect a recruiter to call you for you to forward the project to their email. You need something like a website to host your project. And let me show you my websites. You can also look at it here. Let me paste it. You can look at it here. See my fine website. I like fine things. Can you see? This website, I built everything within 2 hours, and I don't know jack about website design. I don't know anything about website design. But everything was done within 2 hours, and these are some of my projects. So when you come in here, you see some of the projects I've done. Let me try to zoom out a little. So this is the website. These are the projects. You can see some of the projects I've done here. These are some of my dashboard. This FIFA dashboard, I did it with, it was one of the Analytics capstone projects. Yeah, so it was, we were giving data sets for, for FIFA 2018. So this was the dashboard I designed then. Yeah, so this was the dashboard I designed. So lots of, you can upload all your projects here on this site. And I think it's more professional when you have like a site that is hosting all your projects. And it's a free site. I'm not paying anything. If there's a free version, I will not pay. And I'll rather exhaust all the free options before I pay. So that's why I'm showing you the free website now. So you can get this website for free. Build a nice website. You could just go and see all your projects, and then once I'm sure they'll be impressed when they look at the kind of project you have. So they know your capacity already. And when they call you for interview, they'll just tell you, talk to us about your projects. So you even have something to start the conversation with. So it makes the interview smooth for you. And this website, how to build this portfolio, how to build this website, how to get portfolio projects, the Analytics is going to help you and do everything. They will teach you how to build a website. They will give you lots of projects that you can upload on this website, and that recruiters can see, and they will know your capacity just by looking at it. One more thing I need to mention, to avoid all this ATS and everything, another option that works very well is if you reach out to all this recruitment agency. If you get to them, register with them. It's very easy, because then you don't need to worry about ATS. They have your CV physically. They just present you to your organization. And because I think they usually have a court too, and they will try to push you so recruiters will get, so that employers will reach you. And if you get employed, it's a plus for them too. So if you can reach out to recruiters also, there are lots of them out there. You can reach out to them, register with them, and they can also, they are very, very fast. They can help you in getting jobs. So they are very, very fast. It's one of the options I recommend you use also. So if you put all these things we've talked about, if you put everything into practice, if you do it the way we've done it, I assure you, you're going to get a job in no time. So this is really all I have. And one more thing I need to mention, even after meeting recruiters and everything, when you get to the interview stage, I remember when I got my first interview, I reached out to Adeza and I was like, oh, it looks like it's happening. I've been called for the interview, and it spent I was actually worried that, am I not disturbing this person? But he had 2 sessions with me, one-on-one session to prepare me for the interview. And it was the way he asked me to, talk about this, talk about this, talk about this, the way he asked me to talk about those things. That was how I talked about it. And that was how I landed my first job. So he spends time with me. So whenever you have interviews too, you reach out to them. They will not abandon you after taking you through the course. They won't just abandon. They will help you with the interview. There's also a CV review session. Now I was talking about putting your CV in this format. Use X to solve Y to get Z. They're going to teach you all that. Take you through this resume optimization session, LinkedIn optimization session. They're going to take you through all that. And interview, whenever you have interviews, they will prepare you. And one thing that really helped me too was the reference. When I was, you are going to have like a 1 month internship period with analytics. So that reference that reference that I got from analytics was very, very, very solid. In fact, it was the reference I got from analytics was the first that came. They asked me for 2 references. I asked one from analytics and one from my other organization. My other organization took a while before, but the one for analytics had already opened the door for me already. And when the other one came later, I just added it. So solid reference, I'm telling you, solid reference. Interview preparation and resume optimization, LinkedIn optimization. Those are all the things that you will also get once you go through the program. So, and once you do all this, once you get your website like this, easily, if you go to your LinkedIn page, let me just try to search myself on LinkedIn. I didn't log in on this site, so you can. So it's going to be up. It's going to show like somebody viewing from, let's say, like a third party viewing, not me. And if you look at it, this portfolio if you click on it, it will just take you directly to the website. So to this website, so recruiters will just look at you. They don't even need to call you at times. They just look at your profile, click on your portfolio, and see. It was going to take some seconds to load and see your profile immediately without even reaching you. And then your profile will be working for you even without you applying. So it's another way of getting yourself. So you really need to build a website. You need to you need to get your portfolio, because it's one thing to beat the ATS system, and it's another thing for you to have quality. And quality comes from projects. I must tell you, your CV and projects that you've done. Those are the ways you can showcase the quality you have. So I'm going to stop here. Adisa is going to come on, and if you have questions later, I will still be around. Can take questions, and yeah. So that's it. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Olugbemi, for that fantastic presentation. Before Olugbemi started, if you remember, I mentioned that Olugbemi is a superstar, and I'm sure you've seen it yourself, that he's truly a superstar. Olugbemi gets offers every other day. And again, one of the things Olugbemi, helps us do is giving back. So he's gone through the system and he's coming back to give to other people that are also trying to make that jump and get into the tech ecosystem, irrespective of the area you're trying to get. For example, Olugbemi is a business data analyst, and he showed you different things to use. For me, ChatGPT is the way to go. And a lot of people would say, oh, tech is going to take my job. I'm scared that AI would replace whatever I'm doing. And I'm like, what do you mean? What are you saying? The question should rather be, how do I leverage these new trends, these new technologies to help complement what I do? For example, you need to write a cover letter. Why should I bother my head about a cover letter? Even for a resume, for a job, for your CV, you can use a ChatGPT to build a CV to, clearly capture all the keywords for a particular job role you're trying to apply to. And these are some of the things you learn when you get to join our program. So what I'll do is, for the next couple of minutes, I'll walk you through what you stand to gain, the different career paths available. And Olugbemi would also be on board to taking questions for those of you that might have questions you'd love to ask Gbemi. Okay, so let's dive into the slide very quickly, and let's start the second phase of our session today. And we want to have a Q&A session. So I'm sure some of you have burning questions you'd like to ask. Okay, so take note of your questions. write it down, and we'll be very happy to take your questions, myself and Olubemi, before we wrap up our session today. All right. So Olubemi has talked about a lot of very interesting stuff. Okay. Now, there are different tech career paths you can actually dive into. Okay. Olubemi is a business data analyst. Okay. Some of you would want to be business analysts, some data analysts, and so on and so forth. But the question is, before you can even do the amazing stuff Olubemi is doing, you need to learn the skill. Olubemi mentioned last year he joined around April. He learned, he completed his program, started to apply to jobs, had interviews. We sat down together, we looked at the job role, prepared, and eventually he was able to land the job. All right. But how do you start to learn the skill to apply to jobs that are available across your region? All right. So what we did at Analytics was to look at three major criteria. Okay, three major criteria. Number one is the ease of learning. So how easy is it to learn the skill? Do I have to spend 2 years, 3 years, 1 year, and so on and so forth? So how easy is it for me to learn? That's the first criteria we looked at. Secondly, how easy is it for me to transition? So yes, I've spent time to learn the skill within a very short period of time. How can I easily transition and get a job? And last but not the least is high and rewarding salaries. Okay, so how do I ensure that the jobs I'm getting also have very good pay, salaries are fantastic, and so on and so forth? And looking at these three different criteria, we came up with 7 different career paths. 7 different career paths, from business analysis to data analytics to financial analytics, HR analytics, full stack data science, data engineering, and Power Platform engineering. So these are 7 different career paths across different areas. Okay, so how do you start to leverage the time you have and leverage your time to get the skills that you need to apply to these different jobs and get started within any of these career paths? Okay, Olubemi joined the data analytics program, for example. He completed the program after 3 months, completed his internship, and then started to apply to jobs. All right. So first of all, I want to get to hear from you. For everybody on the call currently, okay, ITEL said I'm coming late. Everybody on the call currently, which of the career paths are you interested in? If you're interested in any of the career paths, I would love to know the career path you are interested in, from business analysis to any career path at all within the tech ecosystem. Just type that and send into the chat. Okay, let me get to hear from you. Belo says, oh yeah, front-end developer, data analyst, data engineering, business analysis, Power Platform. Fantastic, brilliant. Data engineering, Power Platform, okay, data analytics, absolutely fantastic. So now the question is, as a business analyst, what do you do? What's the job role of a business analyst? So I'm going to take them one by one and walk through all the different 7 career paths, that we offer at Analytics. Remember the 3 criteria I mentioned. The first one is easy to learn. So these career paths are easy to learn. Secondly, easy to transition and get a job, and also high and rewarding salaries. So we start with business analysis. Okay, so as a business analyst, what do you do? So a business analyst simply is that professional that helps the organization achieve its overall strategy. All right. So every organization has a strategy where they want to be within the next 3 years, within the next 5 years, and so on and so forth. But how do they achieve that strategy? How do they get to that particular goal that they want to achieve? Now, the organization would have to ensure that all their processes are seamless, optimized, and then they can start to become more efficient as a business to get to where they want to get to. So the business analyst sits in between the business itself and then the IT team. The business and then IT. So let's take, for example, you work with an organization and then you want to identify areas of improvement. As a business analyst, you'd sit with the heads of departments, with the heads of units, understand the requirements that they need to optimize the different processes that they currently undergo within that particular part of the business. So let's take, for example, all of us know Jumia, all right? We order stuff on Jumia, we order stuff on Amazon, and we buy things online, on Konga, and so on and so forth, all right? So let's take Amazon, for example. You buy something on Amazon, and between the time you buy and when you eventually get the product delivered to you, it has to go through a series of processes. From when you pay to the person who would go to the warehouse, get the item, pack the item, give it to the delivery person, and the delivery person delivers, and then it is marked as delivered. As a business analyst, you'd come into that process and first of all, map out the process. So process mapping is absolutely essential. Okay, process mapping is absolutely essential. So how do you map out processes that exist within a business? And then if that particular process needs some level of optimization or automation, as the business analyst, you would then come up with the requirements from what the business needs for that particular process, and then work with the IT team to build that automation in the form of a software or an application, depending on what is required to optimize that process. So you would work with the IT team, the development team to get that done. So in the process of doing that, you've been able to successfully optimize that process, making things done a lot faster. The business is more efficient, and then the company can then achieve its overall strategy. So as a business analyst, you are looking at process mapping, process optimization. You're going to initiate projects. So you need to understand project initiation planning. You'd also learn Agile and Scrum for projects. You'd understand the software development lifecycle because you're going to manage different projects regarding building of software, building of applications, and so on and so forth. You'd learn requirement fundamentals. How do you gather requirements? How do you interact with stakeholders, both internal stakeholders, external stakeholders? How do you engage stakeholders, analyze, and manage the stakeholders? As a business analyst, you also understand how to leverage some data analytic tools like Excel, Power BI, and SQL, structured query language, which I always say is that common denominator for anybody going into the world of data. If you're going into any role that requires data, SQL is absolutely important, all right? So these are the skills required for anybody who wants to dive into business analysis. You're going to learn different methodologies for managing projects, Agile and Scrum, and so on and so forth, and also learn how to use tools that are specific to business analysts, from Jira to Draw.io for your process mapping, to Confluence, Trello, and so on and so forth. You learn all these tools as a business analyst to help you get the job done. Now, in Canada, for example, a business analyst typically would earn an average of 74,000 Canadian dollars. And that's the average. In the UK, it's about 52,000 pounds. And in the US, it's about 85,000 US dollars. And how long does it take to learn the skills? You've heard from Olugbemi, and I mentioned Olugbemi joined the data analytics program, all right? And it took 3 months. 3 months to get started, to complete the program, engage in the internship, build a portfolio, and then started to apply to get his first job. So as a business analyst, you get to learn for 3 months. 2 months learning in class, project-based learning, and then 1 month internship. Now, the beauty of the internship is to do what? To build projects. You saw the website, the portfolio Olugbemi showed you that contains the different projects he has worked on. Now, that link to the portfolio is on his LinkedIn profile, is also on his CV. So any recruiter that gets to see that CV without even engaging Bemi, they can clearly see what he has done and what he's capable of doing. So when they invite you for an interview, they can then engage you on a more technical basis and also test to see if all the things you've put out there, you can actually get them done. All right. So that's the beauty of the internship. And the same way, the same process Baby went through when he was studying data analytics is the same process, the same way you're going to go through. All right. You learn all the skills. You'd also go through the 1-month internship to build the portfolio to showcase to the recruiters you definitely be engaging out there. All right. Now we move to data analytics. People confuse data analytics with business analysis, but they are totally different career path. The data analyst is that professional that carries out 2 major aspects within the analytics spectrum. That's descriptive analytics and diagnostic analytics. So as a data analyst, you are helping to find out what happened or answer the question, what happened in the business and why it happened. Okay, so take, for example, you work for an organization that supplies power to the community. So you work for a power company, right? Now, that power company, as a data analyst in the company, you want to find out what happened in Q1 and what happened in Q2. And then you can compare. So if from January to March, for example, you have very low sales, and then from April to June, you have very high sales. So what happened between Q1 and Q2 that led from low sales to high sales? What did we do differently? So as a data analyst, you gather the data from the organization, wherever the data lies, most likely in the database. You get the data from the database, analyze the data, and identify what happened in the business between this period and this period. And once you've seen that difference, you've seen something from a very low position going very high, something very high coming down, declining to a very low level, you start to ask the question, why do we have an increase and why do we have a decrease? And in answering that question as a data analyst, you are moving into what? Diagnostic analytics. Now, for you to gather the data, to get the data from where the data lies, wherever the data currently exists, carrying out analytics to analyze the data to help answer those questions, you need to leverage different tools within the data analytics space. So first of all, you need to understand problem solving, because that's where everything starts from. As a data analyst, your fundamental role is what? Solving problems. So is this even a problem? What's the root cause of the problem? Knowing the right type of tools and techniques to deploy to solving the problem. Tools like the McKinsey-Macy model, the 5 why techniques to identify the root cause of that particular problem, and then leveraging the right type of tool to use to solve the problem. So from problem solving, you learn Excel, which is one of the most versatile data analytics tools you would ever learn as a professional. You'd also learn SQL, structured query language, to help you interact with databases. So like I mentioned, you can't go into anything data without the understanding of SQL. It's absolutely impossible. All right. You learn Power BI for data analytics, building compelling dashboards, carrying out an amazing analysis, automating the process of carrying out the analytics, and also presenting your findings to whoever would make the right decisions at the end of the day. Also leveraging Tableau. So as a data analytics professional, some people will tell you that, oh, Power BI is the best. Once you know Power BI, that's it. But then again, you find some organizations that have a preference for Tableau. So it's either you know Tableau or you know Power BI, all right? But guess what? Imagine you've learned to become a data analyst, and then you're trying to apply to a job that requires Tableau, but you only know Power BI. Then you are shortchanged in that respect. You need to start to learn Tableau, all right? So what we try to do is you learn the two. You learn Power BI, you learn Tableau. So irrespective of the preference of the organization you're applying to, you can still go ahead and apply. You know Power BI, you know Tableau, both mainly for data visualization, all right? And then you learn data storytelling. So you've done your analysis, you've extracted the insights you've gotten from the data. How do you communicate to the non-technical stakeholder? How do you communicate to your CEO who knows nothing about data so that they can take decisions based on your findings? And as a data analyst in Canada, you earn an average of about 64,000 Canadian dollars. In the UK, it's about 40,000 pounds, and in the US, it's about 72,000 US dollars. And how long does it take for you to get started as a data analyst? 3 months. 3 months, Olubemi took 3 months, went through the program, and then you have 1 month internship. And the internship is just for you to build a portfolio, like I mentioned. You work on projects that'll get you started right on the first day when you get a job, right? Now, most of the time, what you get to find, you'd find people who have learned this skill. And people always come to me to ask me, oh, Adeza, I've watched different videos on YouTube, but then I need to, join an internship. I need to work on projects. Where can I find projects? And that's simply because when you are engaged by a recruiter, all these different career paths are heavily skill-based. They would want to test that you have the skills, not just what you have on your CV and the amazing stuff you've shown to them. You'll likely be given a data set. And I'm sure Olubemi might come back to share his experience with you, because I remember clearly his recruitment exercise, right? He was given an assessment to test his technical competence in the skills we'll be deploying on that current role. So you said you can use Excel. How well can you use Excel? How well can you use SQL, Power BI, Tableau, and so on and so forth? You'll be tested. And that's where having real life project-based experience makes it very, very, important for you to ace those different assessment centers when you eventually get to participate. Now, financial analytics, this is simply a combination between finance and data analytics. Now, you learn the data analytics skills, but then you are focusing on working on financial related data. So you're learning the language of business, okay? You'd learn financial analysis, accounting fundamentals that would enable you come up with different ratios. You'd come up with financial models. You'd understand how to value a business, sensitivity and scenario analysis, and so on and so forth, okay? We call it the combination between data analytics and investment banking. So you're more specialized. And when it comes to the demand for these roles, this particular role is it's in very high demand, simply because you don't have enough professionals or a lot of professionals that have both skills. You have data analytics and you also have financial understanding. Okay, so you're going to start from problem solving, just like every data analyst. That's your fundamental objective. Understand how to solve problems. From there, you learn Excel to handle data, carry out analysis using Excel, build dashboards with Excel, summarize data using pivot tables and pivot charts to visualize your data. You learn how to use Power BI to also carry out different types of analytics and visualization. And then you learn accounting fundamentals. You learn how to build financial model. You learn how to valuation. So your models, for example, you'd work on building financial models from scratch. You would all come up with a particular type of business you'd like to start up. And based on the business, you come up with your assumptions, and then you start to build a model from scratch. Now, a lady was able to get a job simply by helping somebody build a model. So there was this gentleman who was having a conversation with this particular lady's colleague, right, in the office, that he's starting a new company, and he's trying to come up with a business model. Now, this lady had just joined our program, the financial analytics program, and they had started their business, their financial modeling class and valuation. So she was very interested to test her skills on the new things she's been able to learn. So she volunteered to do the job for the guy for free. All right, you want to build a model, I'll help you build a model from scratch. Let's have a conversation and let's see how we can get it done. Now, she was able to help him build his model. And eventually, he was so impressed with what she came up with that he recommended her to an organization that eventually hired her based on her understanding of how to build financial models. And as a financial analytics professional in Canada, you're looking at salaries on the average of about 69,000 Canadian dollars. If you're in the UK, it's about 51,000 pounds. And in the US, 74,000 US dollars. And how long does it take? 3 months. Similar to the business analysis, data analytics, financial analytics also takes 3 months. 2 months project-based classes where you're working on projects. And I'll get to show you what the platform looks like. All right. So you have a platform where during a session, you have a live class like this, you have a facilitator and a trainer who would work with you to walk you through the different technical aspects of what you need to learn. Olugbemi is also one of our resource persons today, simply because you need people that have the real life work experience, real life application of these different tools and different concepts, and not theoretical knowledge, okay? So you'd work 2 months project-based classes, working on different projects, and then 1 month internship. And of course, you also have HR analytics. Now, most HR professionals are used to doing the very conventional HR-related, job activities, all right? Monitoring people that are going on leave and so on and so forth, very mundane and, conventional HR-related activities. And one of the things we always try to tell people is this: HR doesn't have to be a cost center. As everywhere, every major organization would look at HR as a cost center to the business. HR should be more strategic. And how can HR become more strategic? Very simple. Advising the company on strategic related areas with regards to people. So as a HR professional, how can you get data related to people within the organization, analyze that data, and give recommendations to the business based on your analysis? For example, people that are leaving the company are very high. You have very high attrition level. How can we bring it down? What's the reason? Why are people leaving? And how can we reduce attrition? These are some of the questions you'll be looking to ask. If you have the people-related data, how can you start to analyze? If you don't have the people-related data, how can you generate the data to answer those pressing questions so that HR and organizations can start to have stay interviews rather than exit interviews, simply because you've been able to identify people that are likely going to leave. You can predict people that are likely going to leave, the reason why they are leaving. So you'd rather have stay interviews to keep them in-house than for them to put in their resignation and you start to have exit interviews when it's almost impossible to keep them and retain them back in the organization. So as a HR analytics professional, you're learning problem solving. That's where you start from. Then you move into Excel and Power BI for analytics, because you need to know how to analyze data using Excel, analyze data using Power BI, and then you learn HR analytics and performance evaluation, HR metrics, different types of matrices you need to analyze as a HR professional, from absenteeism to attrition to analyzing the talent management pipeline. Where do we get the highest number of talents on the different recruitment channels that we currently leverage, and so on and so forth. You learn how to build dashboards using people-related data that exists within the business. How do you collaborate and automate your reports, and also building your case and creating action? So as a HR professional, how do you build your case and create action? I'll just talk about this for a few minutes. Now, everybody gets used to HR being a cost center, like I mentioned. Okay, so you only spend money, you don't bring in money to the business, and they see HR as people who just disturb. Okay, Now, how do you make that transition from being that department or being that individual or professional that people see as a cost center to a more strategic partner, right? So we'll work with you to show you if you don't have data in-house or the data you have is on paper formats, how do you digitize the process? So you start to gather data from the employees within the organization and carry out the analytics you need to carry out to show value to the business. Okay, so these are some of the ways you create action and also build your case within the organization to show that, look, I used to be this before, but now I'm a more strategic partner, a more strategic department within the organization. As a HR analytics professional in Canada, you are earning about 71,000 Canadian dollars, and in the UK, about 32,000 pounds in the UK, and in the US, about 62,000 US dollars. The same, it takes you 3 months to learn to become a HR analytics professional, 2 months project-based classes, and then 1 month internship. All right. Now, moving to the more areas where you need to look at mathematics, statistics, and coding. So the first 4 programs that I mentioned, now here as a business analyst, you don't bother yourself about coding. Yes, you'd use SQL, SQL, but it's not programming in the real sense of it. You are writing queries to extract data from databases. Similar with data analytics, you're not coding, you're not, you don't need to bother yourself with the different types of statistical techniques and so on and so forth. Same with financial analytics and HR analytics. But now when you move into data science, the full stack data science program, then you are moving into the second and the third and the fourth realm of data analytics. As a data analyst, we said you focus on descriptive analytics and diagnostic analytics. As a full stack data scientist, you focus on 2 key areas, predictive and prescriptive analytics. All right. And predictive analytics on its own deals with looking into the future. What is likely going to happen? So you are forecasting, you are predicting, and predictive analytics is hinged on statistics. It's hinged on statistics because you're going to apply a lot of forecasting techniques to predict the future based on what has happened in the past. So as a full stack data science, as a full stack data scientist, you're going to learn how to code using Python. You'd learn mathematics and you'd also learn statistics. So statistics, for example, and people ask the question, I'm scared of numbers. How do I learn statistics? I've done this in university and it was so scary and so on and so forth. But I always tell people there's a difference between what you learn in theory and what you learn in application. All right. Something as simple as the measure of central tendency. I always love to use this as an example. The measure of central tendency. Your mean, median, and mode. Mean, median, and mode. You'll be surprised and shocked how important these 3 concepts are and how easy they are to learn and apply to businesses to actually solve real life problems. Mean, which is simply how you calculate your average. Your median, which simply shows the middle number of a range of numbers. And then the mode, which shows the highest occurrence of a number or within a particular range of numbers. So mean, median, and mode that we've always learned in high school, in the university, and so on and so forth. You learn how to apply them in the real world, and they'll form a part of your statistical knowledge to get into becoming a data scientist. You learn forecasting and predictive analytics using Excel. So here you're going to learn Excel, but the Excel is different from the Excel you learn as a data analyst, because here you're focusing on what? Predictive analytics and forecasting. You'd also learn predictive analytics with Tableau for data analytics and predictive analytics, SQL, structured query language. Again, you can't run away from SQL. when you're going into anything data. So SQL enables you to interact with a database where all the data would be kept. In a structured organization, data would always be in a database or in a data warehouse. So how do you interact with the data that the business has if you don't understand SQL? Then you learn Python, you learn Python programming, you learn exploratory data analysis, you'd conduct your univariate analysis, bivariate analysis, multivariate analysis, and so on and so forth. You learn machine learning, both supervised learning and unsupervised, and also computer vision. So you build projects that are similar to the technologies you have in your mobile phone. So most of you have mobile phones like the iPhone, where you pick up your phone, you use the facial recognition, and then it unlocks the phone. So what's the technology that drives that facial recognition to unlock the phone? Okay, you'll be building projects similar to that as a full stack data scientist. What's the salary like for a full stack data scientist? Of course, the salary is also very good, because full stack as a data scientist, data science was dubbed the sexiest job of the 21st century. All right. So the salary is also very, very sexy as well. 94,000 Canadian dollars if you're in Canada, 50,000 pounds in the UK, and in the US, you have six figures, 121,000 US dollars. And how long does it take for you to learn to become a full stack data scientist? 4 months. All right. It's a bit longer than the data analytics and all the other programs, simply because you're going to learn how to code. You're going to learn Python. Okay. So you give yourself some time to learn the skills, learn how to code, learn how to use Python to build amazing stuff, machine learning models, and so on and so forth. So you learn in a project-based environment for 3 months, and then you jump into internship for a month to build amazing projects that you showcase to recruiters to show that, look, I haven't just learned the skill, I've applied the skills and I know how to build XYZ type of model. I've done it before. And if you assess me, I can show you how amazing I am. So that's what the full stack data science is all about. We move into the data engineering. And data engineering, I would say this is one of the most amazing career paths available, simply because you don't have a lot of people that have the skills as a data engineer. Most of the data engineers we have today are people that transition from software engineering to data engineering. All right. So they were software engineers, but today they moved into the data space and are currently data engineers. So how do you then learn the skill to become a data engineer? Now, first of all, what does a data engineer do? What's the role of a data engineer? As a data engineer, your role is very simple. And to summarize, it is simply getting data, making data available for those who need the data. Okay, Olugbemi is a professional. He works with an organization. That organization generates data, and he analyzes the data, presents the data to the stakeholders, his insights, and then they take decisions as a data analyst. As a business analyst, you'd also have to understand how to analyze data. But the question is, where do you get the data from? From the database. Who kept the data in the database? How did the data get into the database? Or how does data generated by the business get into the database? That's the question. And that's where the data engineer comes to play. The data engineer is responsible for getting data from the different systems and the different sources where data exists in the business. Some data could be generated from the websites, the business websites. Data could be generated from different other sources, from APIs that exist within different applications that the business has, maybe from a mobile app, and so on and so forth. The data engineer's responsibility is to create pipelines, to connect to all those different data sources and move the data into a location that makes it available for somebody like Olugbemi, who is a data analyst, to get that data from that data warehouse or that database and analyze. And to build the pipelines, you need to understand SQL. SQL is your number one language that you need to understand critically. So you remember when I said SQL is that skill you cannot run away from if you want to get into the data space. So you learn structured query language, SQL one more time. You learn Python programming to write your different programs to help create your data pipelines, to move the data from where it is to where it should be. You'd also build custom ETL pipelines, of course, using Python and connecting to different data sources like APIs and so on and so forth, wherever the data exists. All right. So you get the data from where it exists, you transform the data into the shape and how the data should be for easy usage, and then you load it into the database or the data warehouse where that data should be. And then you learn orchestration and scheduling using Apache Airflow. All right. So because data is generated on a daily basis, on a per minute basis, the data is always available. Now, as a data engineer, it's impossible for you to go there every single minute to get the data generated. So how do you automate the process? You automate the process using tools like Airflow, Apache Airflow, for orchestration and scheduling, so that you create the pipeline and it runs itself automatically every 15 minutes. Get data from this particular data source, transform the data and load it into this particular location. So you learn how to do that. You learn AWS, cloud engineering, you learn Git for version control, and so on and so forth. And as a data engineer in Canada, your average salary is about 92,000 Canadian dollars. In the UK, it's about 60,000 pounds in the UK, and in the US, it's also six figures, about 114,000 US dollars. And that's for a data engineering role. I tell you for a fact, every single day we get calls from recruiters for data engineers. And the simple reason why data engineers are in very high demand is simply because you don't have enough people or a lot of people with the skills to get into data engineering. Even though it requires no mathematics, no statistics, but you learn how to code using Python. You'd also learn SQL, and then you'd also learn how to use Apache Airflow for orchestration and scheduling. So you don't have people that have these skills, and that makes it a particular career path that is in very, very high demand. And how long does it take you to learn data engineering? 4 months. You'd learn in a project-based environment. You build these pipelines yourself. You build all these different projects to showcase that you have the skills. And then for 1 month, you are working on projects. And I mentioned that the projects are simply very, very important. Very, very important to showcase that, look, this is my link to my portfolio, just like Olugbemi showed you, on your CV, on your LinkedIn. Click on it and see the work I've done, and then they get to call you to come in for an interview. Now, last but not the least is the BI and Power Platform engineer. BI and Power Platform engineer. Now, this is a role that is becoming very, very hot in demand, simply because a lot of organizations are beginning to realize that, look, it's really not necessary for me to build applications for things that I can build in-house. So rather than building complex applications to carry out or complete very simple tasks, we can build a no-code or a low-code application to help us carry out that particular task. And this is where Power Platform engineers get the most opportunity. So as a Power Platform engineer, you are leveraging the power of you're leveraging the Power Platform ecosystem, leveraging on the different applications within Power Platform to build low-code and no-code applications. Also, you'd leverage the Power Automate to automate processes. So processes that exist within the business and you want to automate that process. You leverage on a tool called Power Automate. And the Power Virtual Agent, which also exists within the Power Platform, helps you to build AI-enabled chatbots. Now, people don't really know the Power Platform simply because everybody knows Power BI. All right, Power BI, everybody knows Power BI. But if I ask you, in the Power Platform, you have other applications within the Power Platform, which Power BI is just one out of those applications within the Power Platform. All right, you have Power Apps that you use to build applications with literally writing no code or very low code. You have the Power Automate, which helps you to automate processes. And then you have the Power Virtual Agent that helps you build AI-enabled chatbots. So these are the 4 different tools you have within the Power Platform, but everybody knows only Power BI, all right? So as a BI engineer, as a BI or Power Platform engineer, you are learning how to use Microsoft Power BI, and that's where the BI comes in. You are learning how to use Microsoft Power BI to build business intelligence solutions and also SQL. So you learn SQL, you learn Microsoft Power BI, and then you become a BI engineer. You then add Microsoft Power Automate to automate processes. So let's take, for example, every Monday you receive a particular data set into your email every Monday, and that data you always download and you put it in a folder, and from that folder it is connected to your Power BI. You can use Power Automate to download that data every single Monday from your inbox. You don't need to do it yourself manually. You build a process that gets the data from your email, downloads it, and put it into the folder where you want it to be. Power Virtual Agents, a lot of you would go on a website and then you are chatting and you think you are chatting with a human being, but you're chatting with a chatbot. How are those chatbots created? With artificial intelligence embedded within them, and that's using the Power Virtual Agent, which is also part of the Power Platform. And these are the things you learn under the BI Power Platform Engineering Program. As a BI Power Platform engineer, you get in Canada, you earn about 72,000 Canadian dollars, 45,000 pounds if you're in the UK, and if you're in the US, about $110,000 US dollars in the US. And how long does it take you to become a BI or a Power Platform engineer? 3 months. You learn all these tools and all these skills for 2 months in a project-based environment, and then for 1 month, you work on your internship. So for 3 months, you are learning how to apply these tools. You are building applications. You are using Power Automate to automate processes, and you create applications without writing codes. And that's the beauty of a Power Platform engineer. And if you look at all the different programs I've highlighted, right from when I started from business analysis to data analytics, to financial analytics, HR analytics, data science, data engineering, and the BI Power Platform engineer, the maximum requires 4 months. So going back to the criteria that we looked at, which is easy to learn, easy to transition, and high and rewarding salaries. So what can I start today and learn? And within the space of 3 to 4 months, I can start to get jobs within that particular space. And these are the 7 areas you can leverage, either as a data analyst, as a business analyst, as a BI Power Platform engineer, as a data engineer, as a full stack data scientist, as a HR analytics professional, and financial analytics professional. Okay, now Olubemi talked about how to use GitHub and some of these AI new technologies that we have available. All right, now one of the things I just want to mention very quickly is for those who have joined our program, like Olubemi joined last year, and I'm sure there are a lot of things that are new to Olubemi today. For example, when Olubemi joined, we're never offering Tableau as one of the programs under data analytics. So Olubemi did not learn Tableau, all right? He only learns Power BI. But then we always look at the market and see the trend to see where the market is going. What are the requirements for all these different roles? So what we did was, what we always do is we look at the current demand of what the market needs, and then we tailor our curriculum to fit those needs of the industry. And one of the things we are also embedding for the new programs we have upcoming for July, or that's the program that is starting on the 1st of July, is on leveraging AI tools like ChatGPT, for example, as a data analyst. As a data analyst, I use ChatGPT every day to carry out my tasks and activities. The question is how. Okay, the question is what? How? So people ask the question on, oh, is AI going to take my job? Am I going to lose my job because of the new trends and the new different technologies coming up? And I always answer and I say no. How is that even possible? Olubemi is getting jobs every day, getting job offers and rejecting some offers because they're not lucrative enough, simply because he knows how to leverage on tools like ChatGPT to write a cover letter, to tailor a CV to what a recruiter would see and love, and then call him to come in for an interview. So as a data analyst, I have a data set and I have no idea what to do. I don't know the type of insight I need to get out of that particular data set. What do? I take all the headers, I take the features of the data, I put it into ChatGPT, and I'll type, ChatGPT, these are the headers of the data set that I have. I want to analyze the data using Power BI. Give me 5 or 10 key insights I can generate from this data. And I hit enter on my keyboard, and ChatGPT will give me the type of insights I need to carry out. And I can keep on asking more and more questions, and I keep on getting more tailored and more in-depth insights that I can get from that data set. And these are the new things we are bringing into the program for the month of July. How do you leverage ChatGPT as a data analyst, as a data scientist? How do you use Fireflies? As a business analyst, you're going to gather a lot of requirements. You're going to carry out elicitation. You're going to sit with different stakeholders to gather requirements from them. All right? Not sit down physically. You have sessions, for example, on Teams, on Zoom. How do you get the different copies of all the things you've talked about during a meeting? I can do that using Firefly, for example. Copilots, how can I leverage copilots to help me come up with different types of, DAX I can use in my Power BI. How do I also leverage copilots when I'm working with using the Power Platform to come up with different types of applications that I want to build, to help me build those applications, leveraging copilots, for example. All right. So these are things that we can leverage, and we can use the new trends and the new technologies coming up to help us get things done as professionals. Now, quickly rounding off, of course, because I know you have questions and you want to ask your questions before we call it a day. What is the program like? What did Olubemi have to go through? All right, because we always tell people that, look, part of the things you learn in the program, the technical skill, is just 50% of what you need to actually get a job. How do you get a job? What makes you land that job and secure the job? And I'll share some things with you with regards to references and recommendations, because Olubemi touched on that. When a recruiter has carried out interview, they're very happy with you. They want to bring you into their organization, but what is left is a recommendation or a reference. What happens, and how can you get one that is compelling enough to get that recruiter to get you into the company? Okay, so you're going to be learning for over 3 months, 3+ months, 2 months project-based classes, 2 weeks capstone projects. So once you are done with your program, your live classes, you then work on capstone projects to test all the skills you've learned in class. So you join the data analytics program, for example, you're going to learn Excel, you'd learn Power BI, you'd learn SQL, you'd learn Tableau, data storytelling, problem solving. You'd apply all those skills to solve a problem. And once you are done with that, you then move into the 1-month virtual internship, where you build a portfolio and you work on different projects that will simulate real life work experience for you. All right. Now, you learn from the best in the business. You learn from people that do this on a day-to-day basis. So you're not just learning the technical skill, you're also learning from experience, all right? So for example, you have somebody like Olubemi in your class. Olubemi, how do you apply this particular thing on a real life job, a real life task that you have to carry out? And that's how you learn from the best. So you learn from industry best professionals. You'd learn leveraging on different platforms like Zoom, just like we currently are using. And we also majorly use Google Meet. So you use Google Meet for your classes, and all your classes are recorded, right? So take, for example, you miss a particular class on a Saturday. The question is, what happens, right? So every class is recorded, all the materials, all the projects, all the case studies are uploaded into a platform. All you need to do is go there, you have access to the recordings, you have access to the materials, to the case studies that was done. And then if you have questions, you're going to be part of a Slack channel, a Google Classroom, and also a WhatsApp group. So your facilitator, your trainer is also within that group, and you can reach out to them. If Olubemi is your trainer for that particular program, Olubemi will be in that group, and you can reach out to him to say, hey, I've tried this, it didn't work out for me, what do I need to do? So collaboration becomes seamless, right? Classes for flexibility, the classes are very flexible. Your classes are on Saturdays and Sundays. Your Saturdays are for live classes. That's when you have a live class, you work on a project, you get to see your trainer, you get to see your facilitator. And on Sunday, you have something we call the Watch Me Do It videos. Your Watch Me Do It videos are simply short videos that you get to watch, learn the concept in those videos ahead of the next practical class that you have. So let's take, for example, your Watch Me Do It videos would show you processes on how to carry things, how to, the concepts behind a particular practical session that you're going to have. So you want to build a data model. What is data modeling? What are the key considerations for data modeling? You'd watch all of that in a video. And then when you have your next class, your live class, you'd work on a real life project where you'd actually build a data model. Okay, so your Sundays are flexible. You don't have a live class on Sundays. On Saturdays, you have your live class, and that's the structure of the program. And again, the focus is on making you job ready. Just like Olubemi, right before he finished the program, Olubemi was job ready. And your technical skill would never be enough. And if you've not learned anything from today's session, you've learned how important tailoring your CV is, how important optimizing your LinkedIn profile is, how important it is for you to always ensure that when you're applying to a job, you take into consideration all the key requirements to meet that particular job application so that you get called in for an interview and you don't keep on getting rejections. When you get rejections, it doesn't mean they don't like you. Nobody will take out time to take your CV and read it. So you assume that, okay, because like Olubemi mentioned, I'm very good with the use of Power BI. So you write in your CV, I have used Microsoft Power BI to do this and do that and do that. But looking at the job description actually listed key other aspects that you don't have in your CV. But you assume that the recruiter would read your CV and see that, oh, you are very good and call you up. That would never happen. And that's why you keep on getting rejections. So how do you tailor your CV? How do you optimize your LinkedIn profile? And that's where the different series, the different job recruitment sessions that you would have, where you would have somebody like Olubemi come to class to walk you through, this is the website, this is how you apply to this particular job role, depending on the specific career path you would like to go through. So 50% technical skill, if you've learned before, all you have is just 50%. You don't have it all. If you join our program, complete your technical classes, your projects and everything, that is only 50% of what you need to get a job. What is the other 50%? And that's where the CV review session comes into play. You must know how to tailor your CV. If you joined at the beginning, you saw what Olubemi did, you know how important it is. And these are the different things you also get as part of the program. So apart from just learning the technical skill, depending on the program you join, if it's data engineering, for example, you learn SQL, you learn Python, you learn Airflow, you learn orchestration, you learn scheduling. You must know how to tailor your CV. If you're applying to 20 different roles, you are applying with 20 different CVs. When Olugbemi was sharing his screen, you saw the different folders for the different jobs. Every job has its own unique requirements. So every job must have its own unique CV. And you must know how to tailor your CV. You must also know how to do what? Optimize your LinkedIn profile. So we'll hold sessions with you to show you how to do it. Just similar to what Olugbemi did today. The only difference is that you have access to these facilitators, you have access to these expertise every single day. That's the difference. So your CV review sessions, your LinkedIn optimization. Now, for those of you that want to get remote jobs, I'm in Nigeria, I'm in Ghana, I'm in Kenya, but I want to get jobs in the US, for example. I want to work remotely. Upwork optimization would help you work on an Upwork profile. If you don't have one, you build one, and then you can apply to remote jobs, navigating the job market. Okay, so wherever you are in Canada, for example, you really don't know what the job market entails. What do I need to take note of? What do I need to do? Are you aware of the Watson formats for writing your CV? Are you aware of the different job websites you need to apply to jobs? These are things you go through during the navigating the job market sessions. All right. Reference and recommendation letters. If you ask Olugbemi, he will tell you the compelling reference that I wrote for him when he was getting his first job as a data analyst in Canada. All right. Now, why is this important? It's important because there is no organization that would not want somebody to attest to your character and say that, look, you've done this before and you're of good character, you know how to do it. These are the things you've done. And I can attest and vouch and stand as a referee for this particular person. And that's usually the game changer. All right. And I'll show you a reference, the most recent one that I just responded to about 4 days ago. This gentleman got a job in Poland. All right. And before he got the job, the organization reached out to say, look, this gentleman has applied to a job, and then I need you to provide a reference to show that, yes, all the details he provided are true. He has done this, he knows how to do this, and so on and so forth. Okay, so I'll show you what it looks like and why that is also very important. And we also provide that for you. Now, your job and interview preparation. You have an interview. You need somebody to bounce ideas off. You need somebody who would sit down with you and say, look, this is how you should prepare. These are the things you need to look out for. I'm going to send you some documents to prepare with, and so on and so forth. Interview preparation sessions gives you that additional platform to get the best out of your upcoming interview. Because some of you have no interview experience. So you get into interviews just trying to wing it and do things the way you feel they should be done. But imagine having somebody like Olugbemi sitting down with you, preparing you for an interview. Imagine having somebody like me sitting down with you, preparing you for an interview. It's a different ballgame entirely. You are getting into that interview session, knowing the right things to say, and more prepared to get the best results out of the interview as much as possible. All right. Now, last but not the least, of course, this is also a new initiative that we introduced in 2023. So Olugbemi, who joined last year, for example, did not get to enjoy the weekly mentorship sessions. Because one of the things we also saw is a situation whereby the job application process can be really daunting and stressful. Imagine having to write different CVs for different jobs, job descriptions, simply because you want to get a job. Olugbemi showed you everything. He showed you what it takes. Some of them you have to write a cover letter. And irrespective of the amount of work you put, sometimes you could still get a rejection. But it's very, very normal for you to also understand that even the best of the best also gets rejections. So the weekly mentorship sessions are designed where you get to see myself, you get to see the co-founder of Tenalytics, you get to see professionals like Olubemi and other people who would show you that, look, it is not abnormal for you to get rejections, but you have to keep on applying to jobs. When you get opportunities, these are the things you need to do. These are the different things you need to change, and so on and so forth. So the weekly mentorship sessions happens every single week, where we get to interact, we get to hear from you, we get to know how far you've gone, and to keep on giving you that push and tell you not to give up. You started out to achieve this particular objective, and you must achieve that objective. So again, you get to work with different professionals across different regions and different locations. Femena, who is in the UK, myself, I'm in the UK, Nene, who works as a commercial analytics professional in the UK. You work with Obina, who is a data scientist in Canada, Olubemi, who is in the UK. You'd work with Kelvin as a data engineer, as the data engineering program, who is in Nigeria. And you'd work with Emmanuel and so many other professionals like Olubemi and the rest as well, okay? These people would help you walk through, hold your hands, and walk you through the path to getting into any of the different career paths that you've chosen, from data analytics to business analysis, to HR, to finance, to full stack data science, data engineering, irrespective of where you'd like to get to, all right? Again, the program, okay. All the programs are virtual instructor-led, like I mentioned. You have a trainer, you have somebody who sits down right in front of you and shows you what exactly you need to do. You work on projects, you solve case studies together, all right? And if you're in the North American region, you're in Canada, for example, like Olubemi, and you are in the US, okay? You have your programs from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Toronto, Canada time on Saturday when you have your live classes. And on Sunday, it is self-paced. Like I mentioned, you have the Watch Me Do It sessions, all right? And if you are in the UK, if you are in Africa, you are in the Middle East, which has the same similar type of time zone, you're in the same time zone, you get to have your classes on Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time, all right? So you have two classes. The North American guys, for those of you in Canada, or those of you who would love to have your time similar to the Canadian, Toronto, Canada time region, or the Eastern time region, you'd have your time around, you'd have your class around that time. And if you're in the UK, you are in Africa, in Nigeria, in Ghana, South Africa, you also want to join the program, you also just check for the time zone that fits, and then you have a class to join, all right? So the classes are very flexible, irrespective of your time zone, okay? Now, to wrap up, there are two options you can take. There are two options you can take. Option one is to try to figure it out yourself, which so many people have done. At a point, I tried this myself, trying to get started, try to figure it out myself, but I'll tell you, this is one of the most difficult things you can ever do, all right? And I'm sure you've learned one or two things today, simply because you are leveraging from somebody else's experience, somebody that have gone through the same step. Eyimofe, you're writing on my screen. Please don't do that. Okay, please don't scribble on my screen. That's distracting. All right, so DIY, which is do it yourself. Okay, you try to figure things out yourself. Yes, you can go that route, but then it takes a long time for you to achieve your objective. The other aspect is to join Tenalytics. We show you what to do. Hold your hands. You work with the best professionals in the game. You work with somebody like Olubemi. You work with somebody like myself, with Femena, with Nene, and all the other professionals we have on board to help you make that transition and get a job. All right. Our next cohort starts on the 1st of July. 1st of July, 2023, that's when we have our next cohort. And a lot of you would have been asking the question, oh, how much does it cost? People have been sending me DMs. I'd love to join, but I want to know, how much does it cost for me to be a part of the program that starts on the 1st of July, 2023, right? So what we always try to do is when we have these sessions to create awareness, we also make available discounts for early birds. So original fee to join the program is £400 if you're paying in pounds, or 320,000 Naira if you're paying in Naira. Now, I would also share the Canadian dollar amounts for those who would want to also take advantage. However, we have a discount for early birds. Okay, we have an early bird discount where instead of paying this amount instead of paying 320,000 Naira to be a part of the program, or paying £400 to be a part of the program, all you need to do is, if you are joining any of the data analytics, business analysis, HR analytics, financial analytics, full stack data science, or the Power Platform developer program, all you have to do is pay 500 Canadian dollars instead of 600 Canadian dollars. And if you are paying in Naira, you get to pay 270,000 Naira instead of 320. So you have an early bird discount. Instead of paying 320,000 Naira, you get to pay 270. Instead of paying 600 Canadian dollars, you get to pay 500. And instead of paying £400, if you're paying in pounds, you get to pay £300 to be a part of the program. Now, that's not what makes it amazing. What makes this amazing is simply the fact that you can also break your payments into 2 installments. So instead of making the full payment, of course, if you want to make the full payment, that's absolutely fantastic. You can go ahead and do that, all right? However, you can make your payment in 2 installments. Instead of paying 500 Canadian dollars, you get to pay 350 to get into the class, to get registered, all right? You get registered, you receive a welcome kit. The welcome kit contains all the materials you need for the program. From the applications you need to download, you have links to download them, the different tools you need to install, how to install them, your timetable, every single thing you have in that welcome kit. And then after 1 month into the program, you get to make the payments, the balance payments of 150 Canadian dollars. And if you're paying in Naira, you get to pay 180 to get into the class, to get registered. And then 90,000 1 month after the program starts. So take, for example, the next cohort starts on the 1st of July, all right? So you make payments, you join the program that starts on the 1st of July, you make your balance payment on the 1st of August, all right? So that's how you make your payments if you want to make payments in installments. Now, the data engineering has a different fee. Okay, if you're joining the data engineering program, if you're paying in Canadian dollars, instead of paying 700 Canadian dollars, you get to pay 600. If you are paying in Naira, instead of paying 450,000, you get to pay 350. And instead of paying £500, you get to pay 400 to be a part of the data engineering program. So out of all the programs, data engineering is a big difference when it comes to the program fee, all right? So this is what it takes to be a part of the program. Everything from learning the technical skill to also learning the other 50% that you need to get a job, from your CV to your LinkedIn, to navigating the job market, to interview preparation, to your weekly mentorship sessions, to your references and recommendation letters. So for those who would love to join, all you have to do is do a direct transfer. If you want to pay in pounds, which depending on where you are, if you're in the UK, for example, you can pay into our pound account. And all you have to do is just to send us a message, and then we would make all the materials available as soon as we confirm your payments. Or you can make payments you are paying in Naira into our Fidelity Bank account. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is the discount is only available for the first 20 people to register from this session. Only the first 20 people to register from this session. Okay, so take, for example, for those who would love to join the data analytics, the business analysis, data engineering, or any of the program, the first 20 people gets to enjoy the discount available. And one thing I would love to quickly say is The rate at which the discount slots get taken is always very fast. And I'll show you what the platform looks like and the different training programs. When you join, how will you access your materials? What type of material, what type of case studies or projects are you likely going to be involved in? I'll show you what it looks like. And for those who might have a little bit of challenge making payments by direct transfer, you can also make your payment by PayPal. All right, full payments, you click on this link and it gives you access to making your payments on PayPal, for example. So if I click on this, for example, it takes me into a PayPal link, which I'm just going to quickly show you before we start to take your questions and call it a day. So if I click on this link, it takes me into a PayPal page. All right, if I want to make the full payment, for example, all right, so the full payment, 500 Canadian dollars, all I need to do is click on buy now, all right, and it would ask me to make payments using PayPal. I click on PayPal, and then I want to pay using my debit or credit card. I click on that, and then I have access to make payments if I want to make payments using PayPal. You can also do a direct transfer. And once you have done that, you've made payments, all you have to do is simply just send us a message to any of the WhatsApp numbers, and then you get to fill these links. My colleagues are also sending that in the chat as well. All right, all you have to do is click on the link, upload your proof of payment, and as soon as we confirm your proof of payment, that gets you into the class. You get a welcome kit, you get into the class, and then you have access to the platform. Now, I want to show you something very interesting. For those of you, we always have Olugbemi on our brochure. Any material we have, Olugbemi is always there. And these are testimonials of people that have joined our program, any one of our programs, and have gotten jobs. This gentleman got a job recently as a business data analyst. And this lady, Maureen, also got a job as a HR data analyst after joining the HR analytics program, getting a job in Canada as well. All right, so I'm just going to show you Olugbemi, and that's Olugbemi over there for those of you that saw Olugbemi at the beginning when he started. All right, Olugbemi's story is always very interesting, and we always find Olugbemi as that professional who has gone through the ropes and has also come back to help so many other people, walk that same road. Okay, and the importance of references, like I mentioned, why references are very important. I'm just simply going to show you, all right? Why are references very, very important? Let me show you quickly. For somebody who just got a job recently, I just tried to blot out. I think I've been able to do that. Yes, all right? So I received this email. If you can see my screen clearly, I received this email on the 13th of June, just a few days ago, on the 13th of June, all right? Now, this gentleman had applied to a job as a business data analyst, and they needed an employment verification. So tell us that what this person has told us is true, and we can employ him, all right? So they reached out to me. That's my email, Adeza@Analytics, sent me the email and said I should provide details for the particular gentleman. And of course, I was able to provide that for them. I responded to the email, and the day I responded, in less than about 10 minutes, because I was chatting with him. Oh, I'm currently filling your reference. These are the details I have, and so on. And I completed the reference for him. And less than 15 minutes after completing the reference, he saw in his portal that his recruitment process has been completed. All his references were complete, and so on and so forth. No recruiter would want to hire you without somebody vouching to say that, look, I have worked with this person before, and so on and so forth. So what we always tell our participants is, you've worked with Analytics, all right? So he simply indicated that he has worked with us at Analytics, right? The position he held and everything, and all we needed to do was to do what? Corroborate what he had, sent to the company, that was correct. And today he's working as a business data analyst. And in fact, the conversations we had was phenomenal, all right? Because he mentioned that he struggled to get a job before he joined Analytics. But today, his salary is far more than all his other friends that got jobs before him. Okay, and he's not even in Canada, he's in Poland. All right, so he's currently in Poland. He got a job in Poland and he's doing phenomenally well. And that's the importance of references. When we talk about references, we talk about recommendations. That's the importance of references and recommendations. Okay, now before we start to call it a day, and if you have questions, just use the raised hand icon. I'll be very happy to answer the questions you have. I just want to show you what the platform looks like, okay? For the benefit of those who would, love to know, how do I learn? What are the things I need to take note of when I join the program and so on and so forth? So let's look at this particular class. This is for business analysis. All right, this is for business analysis. Now, when you join the program, you get your welcome kit. I'll just scroll down to the very bottom of the classroom. So this is what your classroom looks like. You first of all get a welcome package, how to navigate your Slack channel, how to navigate the Google Classroom. You also get your welcome kit. And like I mentioned, the welcome kit contains everything you need for the program, right? If I click on this, for example, okay, you'd see the welcome kits, welcome to the Analytics Business Analysis Program. Okay, so that's myself and the co-founder of Analytics. And then you see all the things you learn. You have your lesson plan. You have all the other different things you learn, your mentorship sessions, your capstone projects, your virtual internship, your offboarding sessions, and so on and so forth. Okay, how to install Microsoft Office, how to download PostgreSQL, and all the different things you need to download. Now, that's not what is even very interesting. Now, let's click on people and see the people that have joined this particular cohort, right? 73 students in this class. And this is the business analysis for April, if I'm correct. Yes, for April. 73 people joined. Now, only 20 out of the 73 got or took advantage of the discount. So what we usually get is a situation whereby people come back to us and say, oh, please, can you make the discount available to me? I was in the session, but I couldn't make my payment on time and so on and so forth. And that's why we always tell people, if this is something you want to do, you want to get a job in tech, you want to become a data analyst, a business analyst, a data scientist, take advantage of the discount, get into the program, and let's start your journey into tech together on the 1st of July, 2023. All right, let's look at some of the projects and what the class looks like itself. So this is your very first Excel class as a business analyst. You have the login details to get into class. You click on the link, you join the class, and every class has its recording. Okay, so if, for example, Zainab has joined the program, right? She missed out on this Microsoft Excel class 1. All she needs to do is come to this platform whenever she has the time to revisit the material, come to the platform, get in here, go to the class recording, watch the class recording, go to the class material, and see the case studies that was completed in class. So there were 2 case studies, and I'm just going to click on one of them. And this is how you learn. When people ask, oh, how can I learn to become a business analyst within the space of 3 months? How is it possible? It's possible because you work on project-based case studies. Project-based case studies. So your classes are filled with projects. So this is a case study you're going to work on your Excel class. It's called the Crixus Travel Company case study, okay? And then you have the background, you have the data dictionary, where to download the data sets, and then you have your tailored analysis of the different, analysis you are meant to come up with. This is your very first project you're going to work on. You have another project, the malaria death case study. You work on that as well. And for anybody who missed this class, you have access to everything that was done. everything that was done, okay? You have your Microsoft Excel class 2, and then you move on to Power BI. You have your Power BI classes as well. You move on to SQL. Your SQL, you also have your different, you work on case studies as well during your SQL classes. You have game night sessions, you know, to add that flavor. You're not just learning, focusing on serious stuff. You have game night sessions where you learn by also having fun, okay? So your SQL class 2, you have a different other case study where you would apply your SQL skill to solving a particular project, okay? So this is another case study where you'll be analyzing data, building a database, writing queries to answer questions for this particular case study. So you are learning by working on projects. And as you move on, remember what Olugbemi talked about, building your portfolio. Building your portfolio. You see that beautiful website Olugbemi showed you, where you warehouse all your portfolio. It serves as a repository for your portfolio. You'd learn how to build your portfolio, right? So you learn how to publish your Power BI projects. You learn how to upload your Microsoft Excel and SQL files on the web, and then how to then build that portfolio website to showcase all the projects you have. You have that there as well. You have your mentorship sessions, and everything is here. Everything is what is here on this platform. And the moment you are done, you move into your capstone project. You move into your capstone project. So if I come to the capstone project, for example, for this particular project, you are working on what? A canteen ordering system for Unilever. It's just, is a case study, is a real life case study, but some of the data has been, edited for data privacy issues. So this is just one class, for example, the business analysis. You have the HR analytics and so on and so forth, the same structure. You get to work on what? Projects, project-based learning. And that's the best way to learn, all right? So for example, you see where you have navigating the job market, where you have a professional who comes to class to show you how to navigate the job market, okay? What do you need to take note of? Somebody like Olugbemi, who has been able to achieve success, you have them come to show you. For this particular session, the gentleman in this session as well, I'll show you who the gentleman is. His name is Abdul Rashid. Now, Abdul Rashid, just like Olugbemi, is also one of Tenalytics alumni. He's an alumnus as well. And Abdul Rashid currently lives in Nigeria, in Kwara State, and he works remotely for Chow 420 or Chow 240, something like that. Chow 420 in the US. I'll just show you Abdul Rashid so you get to see who Abdul Rashid is. So these are the people we bring back. So we're not bringing in people that you'd find difficult to relate to. So this is Abdul Rashid, who took the Navigating the Job Market session. Abdul Rashid would show you how to get remote jobs, because this is something he has done. We've worked with him. He has been able to, he lives in Nigeria, currently in Kwara. He works with Chow 420 in the US after joining our full stack data science program. So these are the professionals you'll be working with, showing you practically what to do, how to search for the jobs, and how to get the jobs, okay? So I think I'm just going to call it out, stop here at this point, and then I'll take questions from those that have questions, and then we call it a day. I'll take questions from those that have questions, and then we call it a day, all right? So I'll start with Sunday Adedeji. Sunday, I've asked you to unmute yourself. If you have questions, please go ahead and ask your questions, and then let's hear from you.
Okay, good morning. Good morning, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, go ahead, Sunday.
Okay, thank you very much for all that you do. The class was very exciting and inspiring. I have two questions. My first question is that, based on your experience, what is the market demand of financial analytics compared to data analytics? That's my first question. My second question will go to Bemi. I think I got his name correct. I want to know if he got job in Nigeria before he relocated to Canada, or he got it when he got to Canada. So those are my questions.
All right, fantastic. Okay, so based on experience, what's the demand? Now, one thing I always tell people is data analyst roles are very high in demand because every organization today wants a data analyst. There's no doubt about that, right? But then again, it doesn't mean that because you study data analytics, you're going to get a job before somebody who studied financial analytics. It doesn't work that way. So one of the things you have to put into consideration is how you're applying to those jobs, right? Now, because data analytics roles are available, you can leverage on that. You study data analytics, you start to apply to a job, and then you are likely able to get a job as a data analyst down the line eventually. As a financial analytics professional, you can approach your job search from two angles. So everyone has its own advantage and disadvantage. So as a financial analytics professional, where you have the advantage is where you can apply to jobs as a financial analyst, and you can apply to some jobs as a data analyst. Some, and I'm emphasizing on the word some jobs. Why do I say some jobs? Now, as a financial analytics professional, you're also going to learn problem solving, you learn Excel, and you learn Power BI. So for job roles that requires these three skills, you can apply to them. And for jobs specific for financial analytics professional, you can then apply to those as well. And one mistake people make is because you've applied, you've learned financial analytics, you always want to apply to jobs that says financial analyst. That's not the way to go. Commercial analyst, you can apply to jobs like that. Financial analyst, you can apply to jobs like that. Sales analyst, you can apply to those jobs. All you have to do is look at the job requirements. Some jobs requires only Excel, Power BI. You have Excel, you have Power BI, you go ahead and apply to those jobs, all right? So again, in terms of demand, data analysts are in very high demand simply because every organization wants to have a data analyst, but that's not a guarantee that you would get a job before somebody else. It all depends on how you're able to ride the market, apply to jobs, and strategic and streamlined in your job search, all right? And the other question goes to Olugbemi. You said if Olugbemi got a job while he was in Nigeria or after he moved to Canada. I don't know if Olugbemi is still on the call. I think Olugbemi,
Yes,
you want to take that question quickly?
yeah, so I was in Canada before I got the job. However, there are companies that do sponsorship programs too, that you can, if you go to Canada Job Bank, you can see the you see the job opportunity, and you will see if it has sponsorship. So you can check that out as well. If you have the skill they desire, why not? They can go ahead and sponsor you. At least that's why they put sponsorship option there. Yeah.
All right. So just to add to what Olugbemi said very quickly, absolutely, jobbank.gc.ca. I'm going to drop that in the chat. All right. So Sunday, you can take advantage of that. You can click on that link and check for the jobs that can also sponsor you to come from Nigeria to Canada. But one thing that I'd like to say is job from outside the country can be more difficult than getting a job when you're already in the country. All right. So it's a lot easier to get a job when you're in Canada compared to when you're outside Canada. But there's so many people that have also gotten jobs and then they have to move, they get a permanent residence and so on and so forth. Okay. All right. I will move to the next person very quickly. I think I have Toyin. Toyin, please go ahead, please.
Hi, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. Hi. So I'm interested in the business analysis program, and I just wanted to find out if that would that help to get us the certifications, like with the IIBA?
Okay. All right, very good question, Tony. Now, the business analysis program is designed, the curriculum is designed leveraging the IIBA and the BCS. So the BCS curriculum is the equivalent of the IIBA in the UK. So the BCS plus the IIBA was looked at to develop the curriculum for the business analysis program. All right. Now, there's a major difference between whatever you learn for your business analysis certification, leveraging or focusing on IIBA. Maybe you want to get a CBAP and so on. Now, the major difference is learning to get the certification is 100% theoretical, 100%. All you need is get the bar book, read what is there, go for classes, read, learn the concepts, the theoretical concepts and so on, practice examination materials, go in there, write your exams, and then you pass, you get your certification. Now for us, the focus is not on you getting certified, because what you can also do is check for the job requirements that you get to find. Maybe 10% or maybe less would require you to have a certification, all right? What you want to focus on is on getting the practical skills, and that's what we focus on, all right? So as a business analyst, on the first day on the job, can you gather requirements? Do you understand how to use Agile and Scrum methodologies practically, not in theory? Okay, so that's the major difference. But when it comes to the curriculum itself, we leverage the IIBA and the BCS to develop the curriculum for the business analysis program. But if you want to sit down, write the certification to get certified, the Tenalytics program would not help you do that, because it doesn't focus on those theoretical concepts in the manner that would help you prepare for that examination to write to pass the exam. Okay, it focuses more on the practical bits of applying your skills as a business analyst in the areas of using tools like Jira, using tools like Draw.io to do your wireframing and your process map, how to leverage Confluence and Trello and Slack and so on and so forth. So you use those tools practically to help you do the job of a business analyst compared to writing the examination. I don't know if that makes sense to you, if that helps to answer your question, Tony.
Yes, very much. Thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome. Okay, so I'll move to the next person, Zainab. Zainab, I've asked you to unmute yourself. You can go ahead.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening, Zainab.
My first question, I think what was his name? Okay, but let me ask you. When he was showing us how to compare the roles and compare the roles and our CV. So if I don't have any experience in data analytics and I want to apply for jobs and I want to copy the roles or what I'm expected to do and put it in my CV, how will I present to my employer that I work with a company? How will I come up with the company name?
All right, very good question. All right, Zainab. So
that's the first question, sorry.
Okay, that's the first question.
Okay, the second question, Olu promised to share the CV template with us, and I'll be very glad if he can drop what's it called to the list of the recruiters. And my last question is the site just dropped now for sponsorship jobs in Canada. For those people that are in UK, do we need to write IELTS?
Okay, for those
that's all. Thank you.
Do you need to write IELTS? All right. Interestingly, we had a session just before I jumped on this session for those in the UK. All right. So the process is a lot different from those in Canada. All right. Yes and no. Okay. For the IELTS parts, the answer is yes and no. So yes, if for example you are a dependent. Okay. So if you did not write IELTS, you are not doing a master's that requires you to show English language proficiency or anything like that, then you need to write IELTS, because getting a sponsored job is point-based. you get points, and you need a minimum of 70 points. That's in the UK to get a sponsored job, to apply for a skilled worker visa, right? So you need 70 points. Now, English language is 10 points. If you meet the English language requirements, automatically you get 10 points. Now, you can meet the English language requirements if you are a student in the UK. Maybe you are doing your master's, for example, and part of your requirement was to provide a WAEC certificate to show that you passed English or something like that. You would meet that requirement. But if you are a dependent, so maybe your husband is the one doing his master's, for example, and you are a dependent, you did not have to provide any English language requirements, then you might need to write IELTS if you have not been able to get 70 points, okay? And the computation for the 70 points it consists of a number of categories. For example, the type of job you're applying to, is it on the shortage occupation list? If it is, you get 20 points. The company that gave you the job, do they have the license to sponsor? If they are, you get 20 points as well. The job level, if it falls within the required job level, you get another 20 points. So you have those different criteria. But in regards to IELTS, you have to, if you're a student, you're likely going to pass that without any need to write IELTS. If you're not, then you might need to write the IELTS examination, okay? How do you show work experience? And this is where, like I said, you are a student, absolutely. So you don't need to write IELTS as a student to apply for a skilled worker visa. So what I would advise you to do, Zainab, is, I don't know, we had a session just a few minutes before we had the one for those in Canada. But again, if that is made available on YouTube, I'd advise you to follow us on YouTube, subscribe, and we're likely going to post that on our YouTube channel. I'm going to use this gentleman's, the reference for this gentleman as to answer the question you asked with regards to the work experience. Now, one of the things we always tell people to do, and if you noticed, when Olugbemi shared his CV, he had experience with Analytics, all right? Now tell Olugbemi, we can just maybe share it again one more time so you get to see it. One of the things we always advise people to do is this. The moment you start learning with us, you started working. So there is nothing like, I'm new, I don't have experience. There's nothing like that, because guess what? The same skills and the same tools you would apply to work on projects are the same skills and the same tools you apply in the real world to solve problems for the type of jobs you'll be given when you get a job, okay? So if you look at this gentleman whom I received this reference, he definitely indicated that he works with Analytics. You can see the company name, Analytics, the date of birth, the name, when the position, so the position he held when he was with the company, he indicated it there. And of course, his name was also there. So one of the first things we tell you to do is the moment you start working with us, you are working with Analytics. All the projects you are solving, all the different tools you are leveraging, all the skills you are applying, they are Analytics skills. They are skills you are applying working with Analytics. So take, for example, you join the data analytics program. On your LinkedIn profile, you're going to put Zainab Balogun, data analytics consultant with Analytics. So what have you done? I have done this job for this client, helping them to solve this using this particular tool, okay? Because guess what? It's unfortunate that the same organizations that would say, oh, we need you to have 2 years to 3 years experience are the same organizations that will not give you the job if you don't have the experience. So why not leverage the projects you have to serve as work experience? So that's what your experience would be, all right? Now, if you've ever worked before, maybe you've worked in the bank, you've worked in a school, you've worked in any organization, we would help you tailor your CV, all right, based on your past experience, what you've done before, to fit into your new career path. Okay, so if you're a data analyst, you worked as a teacher in that school, you must have a way of keeping records, all right? So you can say as a teacher within this particular organization, I leveraged my understanding of SQL to build a database to store all the students' data and their academic records in different tables, leveraging on a schema. You talk about all the things you've done, all right? SQL, how you applied it to your teaching job, how you were able to use Excel to compute the student scores, and that improves the time it took or the efficiency of computing the scores from X number of time to X number, of hours. So if you have past experience, irrespective of where that experience lies, in the hospital, you're a pharmacist, and you've learned a particular skill, you would add that skill to your previous work experience to include all those things you just learned, and you want to move into that career path. So that's what we would advise anybody to do, and that's what we've been doing. So if Olugbemi would not mind, Olugbemi, I don't know if you'd like to share your CV just one more time for those who would want to see, right, where you had your Tenalytics experience as well. So are you still there, Olugbemi, quickly? If you'd like to add to that very quickly, let me see if Olugbemi is still there. Okay, Olugbemi, you're muted if you're trying to speak. All right, while we wait for Olugbemi to come, because of time, we don't want to take too much time, we'll show you in his CV. We also check his LinkedIn profile. You'd see that he was a Tenalytics employee. And that's simply when you join the program, you're no longer, somebody who doesn't have experience. You now have experience working with us in that particular area. All right. So I'm going to take the next question from Miriam. Miriam, if you can go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hi, Zainab had already asked my question, but I'm still reminding Olugbemi to share the Word document template he used for his resume. Yeah, that is just it.
Okay. Right. Odusonya Oluwatobiloba. Oluwatobiloba, I've asked you to unmute yourself. You can go ahead with your question, please.
Good morning, sir.
You might need to speak up a bit. Oluwatobiloba, I can't hear you.
I said good morning. Can you hear me now?
Yes, it's better.
Yeah, I'm very happy that I come across this wonderful program. I'm so excited. My problem is that instead Gbemi, is it Gbemi? Yeah, it started with you guys last year. Well, I'm seeing 5 years experience on a CV, and I just the recruiters and some kind of things. What are they thinking? I can't comprehend that. There's kind of experience, but now that you are talking about when you open the database, all this kind of the way you source your data in a realistic world is very fantastic. I must commend you guys. I really love it because I grew up in a very rural area that nobody wants to support anybody. Just trying to help myself here. But in this life, I think you have to.
I can barely hear you. I can barely hear you, Oluwatobiloba.
Okay.
I'm struggling to.
You can help me shed more light on how to do some certain things like taking job and this thing that Olugbemi did.
Yes.
Hope you get what I'm saying.
Yes, to shed more light on it. That's what you said.
Yes. Did they learn it from you guys or is another thing entirely?
All right. Oluwatobiloba, I'm not sure you joined early enough. Okay, so now we talked about a lot of things after Olugbemi delivered his session, and every single thing Olugbemi talked about, right, which we worked with Olugbemi on doing when he joined our program, from the technical skill learning in the data analytics program to all these other aspects that involves what? The additional benefits, which forms the other 50% that eventually helps you get a job, because your technical skill is not enough to get a job. So for me to elaborate on this, Oluwatobiloba, you need to make payments to be a part of the program, all right? It's not for free, okay? We have these live sessions to do what? To create the awareness and to show you that, look, the opportunities are there. And guess what? The job opportunities are immense and they're enormous. If Olubemi comes back, maybe we'll share the number of offers he has, the number of interviews he has this week alone. We'll mention them to you, all right? So there are job opportunities are available, but the question and the challenge is that a lot of people want the easy way out, okay? I would rather just do Deliveroo, or I'd rather just do Uber, or I'd rather just work in the warehouse and so on and so forth, rather than make an investment, learn a skill, prepare myself, dedicate myself, and then I can start to apply and get a job where I can see a career progression, okay? I don't know if that answers your question, Oluwatobiloba, but every single thing we've talked about from the beginning when the session started up until this moment, we make all of that available, because remember, the goal for us is to help you make that transition, to bridge the gap between the classroom and getting a job. I hope that answers your question, Oluwatobiloba. Okay, so Prince, I've asked you to unmute yourself. Please go ahead and ask your question.
Good morning.
Morning, Prince.
Yeah, so as it is, you've been my mentor since February 2023. I'm just letting you know that.
Okay.
So I have joined the July 1st cohort, but
Okay.
I'm having some headache. First off, me joining. I'm able to actually get my sister. She's in UK to join the July cohort too. So she is on a master's program as a data scientist. Now she's saying she might have some sort of difficulty understanding the Python etc. And I said, see, these things are easy. These people, look at them, they'll push you through. But my own headache now is she's saying I should do the same thing as data science. But I'm leaning towards the data analysis as a data analyst. That's where I'm actually leaning towards. But now I don't even know which one I should actually put in the leg in first. I don't know if I should do the analysis first, then migrate maybe after after my 3 months, do the scientist and have the double, or just go for the scientist at the same time. I don't really know. That's the headache that I'm having. So I just need to put it out there and let's see how best to actually go about it.
All right, Prince. It's a good headache to have, to be honest. All right, because I think because first of all, you've made the decision to start, and I think that's what is most important. So it's at the end of the day, it all depends on, it all depends on you. All right. Usually, if I'm going to advise, I always advise, what do you see yourself doing? All right. Now, are you somebody who is comfortable? You don't mind learning? For some people, no matter how you tell them that, look, this thing is easy, you can learn it, you can learn how to code, you can learn statistics, you can learn, because it's different from you learning and when you have to put that into practice. And most people that eventually join the data science, for example, they get to see that, wow, this used to look like magic to me when I see it on LinkedIn. I never believed I'll be able to build machine learning models, for example, right? So if you are somebody who is confident doing any of the two, data science, data analytics, I can advise you to start with the data analytics, complete one, and then move to the data science if you would still love to learn that. We've had so many people, right? They've started with the first one, they came back, they learned the second one, and I'll just show you an example very quickly. All right. I hope he's here. Yes, Ubong. All right. Ubong, first of all, he joined the data science, the full stack data science program. All right. And then he came back to do the data analytics program. Okay. And today, Ubong works with Cognizant in the UK as a data analyst. All right. So it all depends on you, to be very honest. When it comes to the job opportunities for both data analysts, data scientists, the job opportunities are amazing when it comes to the two. So all you have to do is just look at the one you think you'd like to start with, and you can start with any. One is not, they are mutually exclusive. You don't have to learn one before you learn the other one, and vice versa. Okay, I don't know if that helps. Maybe now that your sister wants to do the full stack data science, maybe you would like to do the data analytics, for example, right?
Yeah.
So you're learning two different things, you can share knowledge and so on and so forth. Then afterwards, you then do the data science, if that's something you'd be interested in learning as well.
I think that's what I'll do. I think that's what I'll do.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome, Prince. I think I'll take just about 3 more questions and then we call it a day. Okay, I will have 3 more people. Stephen, Eloho, and Gideon. Stephen, I've asked you to unmute yourself. Please go ahead and ask your question, Stephen.
I'm Stephen. I'm from Kenya. I'm just trying to understand if Canada has. I attended the UK one, and now I'm on this for Canada one.
Okay.
So I'm asking, do Canada have control like the UK? There was a UK tire sponsor where you can be able to view who has the permit to sponsor.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if I hear your question right, Stephen, you're asking if there's a pathway for you to get a sponsored job in Canada. Is that your question?
Is there controls? Because they are only saying that there is Canada Job Bank where you can view job advertisements.
Mm-hmm.
But I have not seen you. I have not seen you explain where I can be able to see who can sponsor the verified one, who are the licensed companies.
Yes. Okay. I get what you mean. So for the UK session, I showed you specifically the website where you can check for companies that can sponsor, but we've not done the same here, right? So it's not, I would say it's not like for like, right? And if you want to get everything, all the companies, where do I need to apply to jobs? What are the skills I need? Who can work with me to help me prepare for these opportunities that exist? Then you have to be a part of the program, right? We have a lot of people that have joined from Kenya. We have people that have joined from Ghana, from Zambia, and so on and so forth, okay? So all I would advise you to do, Stephen, is take advantage of the discounts we have available, join the program, and then you have access to all these information, all the different strategies you need to leverage, you need to take note of to get success within the space. How do we confirm payment? Anu is asking. So Anu, all you need to do, right, is my colleagues dropped some links on the chat, but just in case you missed the link, just send a message to any of these numbers on the screen, any of the numbers. You received an email to join this session, all right? Or you were in a WhatsApp group to join this session. All you need to do is just reach out to us, send us a message, WhatsApp message to any of these numbers, and then we would request for your proof of payment. Once we confirm your proof of payment, we then get you into the program. I can see your payment, Anu Oluwapo. Yeah, I can see your payment, Anu. So like I said, just send us a message, all right, to any of the numbers on the screen, and then we confirm your payments and we get you into the class. I hope that helps, Anu. I hope it's the same Anu anyways, because I can see a payment from Anu. All right. Let me see. So I'll ask Iloho. I'll take Iloho, I'll take Gideon, and then I'll call it a day. Iloho, please go ahead. I've asked you to unmute yourself. Go ahead, Iloho. Okay, so Gideon, you can go ahead and ask your question, Gideon. I've asked you to unmute yourself, Gideon.
Hello.
Hello?
Yes, Gideon, go ahead, please.
Okay. Thank you for this opportunity. I really appreciate the presentation. Okay, my question goes this way. For someone who is doing an MBA program in Canada and has a background in engineering,
okay,
what between a business analysis and a data science, what do you advise the person should go into? Because really the interest is in coding, I have that interest in coding, but also considering doing MBA. So I'm just looking at the two sides, which one is which suits better. But I love coding. I've done some small programs in Python. So, but considering the MBA, so I'm just considering these two sides. So what do you advise?
All right, fantastic, Gideon. If you love coding, then it's a no-brainer, to be honest. I think the full stack data science program would really be good for you, all right? Now, when you say you love coding, do you love coding in the sense that, because the full stack data science and the data engineering involves coding, okay? And the two different roles also involves different career path, different type of engagements. As a data scientist, you will engage with the business. You'll get data, you build models, you'd come up with insights, you'd interact and do presentations to show your findings, right? Now, on the other hand, as a data engineer, where you'd also code, you learn how to code, you build pipelines. Yes, you'd interact with the business, but not in the same manner as a data scientist. So you're only interacting with the business to understand their data needs. Okay, so what type of data do you need? How can we make the data available? And so on and so forth. Okay, now, based on your own specific, I would say, your own specific situation, it's always difficult to recommend specifically to say, oh, Gideon, go for this or go for that. It's totally dependent on the individual, okay? What you'd like to see yourself doing, for me, that's what I would recommend that you base your judgment on, not really on what you are studying or what you studied. I'll tell you for a fact, okay? Focus more on what you'd love to do, all right? So if you see yourself in an organization, for example, using Python, creating machine learning models, carrying out exploratory data analysis, predicting what is likely going to happen, and doing a presentation where you have the CEO, you have your head of department, you have the directors in that same meeting, and then you are presenting to them what you think should happen based on the analysis you've done. If you see yourself in that kind of situation, then I would simply say, and you love coding, like you said, go for the full stack data science program, all right? On the other hand, for the business analysis aspect, if you would see yourself as somebody who would love to, you won't do a lot of analysis, you will not code. What you do most of the time is interacting, managing projects, initiating projects, creating process flows, process maps, optimizing those processes, eliciting information from different departments, interacting with them to get their needs, and looking at how you can optimize those processes by creating business requirement documents to see what each department needs. And then for you as a business analyst, that's what you'll be doing most of the time, all right? So little analysis, you're not going to carry out, you're not going to code, you're not going to analyze as much as a data analyst and as a data scientist would do. Okay, so you just have to look at where you want to be, what you want to be doing going forward. Okay, I have an MBA as well. I've always been a data analyst for the most part of my career. So it really doesn't stifle or constrain you to wherever or whatever you want to do. Just look at what you love doing, where you see yourself, how you'd like to, the type of job you enjoy doing eventually, and that would help you make a decision. We're also going to have one-on-one clarity sessions, okay, for people who are maybe studying, who are HR professionals, for example, and they want to learn HR analytics, and they have questions around, oh, should I do HR analytics, or I should do something else so I can branch out from what I usually do. We'll also have one-on-one sessions for you to help answer those questions that you have. Okay, so if you fall within that category, if you received an email, if you received a WhatsApp message, if you're in a WhatsApp group, just stay in that group. My colleagues would reach out to you to indicate if you'd love to have a one-on-one with me, have a one-on-one with the co-founder of Tenalytics and other professionals who can help you make a decision. For those of you that might have one or two questions to clarify. I hope that helped to some extent, Gideon. All right. Eloho, you wanted to ask a question the other time. I think this is the last question I'll take, and then I'll wrap up for today. It's been a long day spent. Yes,
yeah,
Eloho.
thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
I'm in the HR space currently. So I had the plan, before this meeting, I had the plan to actually learn data analysis.
Okay.
The course data analyst, because I'm in the process of, I'm pursuing a career, postgraduate career in HR in Canada. So with this now, would you advise I should remain in the HR analyst and probably, or go on with my postgraduate in HR and still dive into the data analysis? Then also my second question is that if, for example, if I go for the HR analyst and probably I want to come back and do the data analyst, is there a discount preference for past students that have done one course and they are coming back for another?
Okay, all right, very good question, Eloho. So your first question is, you want to do a postgraduate in HR, you're a HR professional, but you want to dive into data analytics. Should you actually do that or go ahead with the HR analytics? Now, there are two things involved, okay? And there you have benefits in specializing or in specialization. If you have experience in that particular job function, it can actually do a lot of good for you if you have skills within the analytics space that can complement your previous experience, because that would make it very easy. And I would love to share a particular profile with you very quickly, somebody that kind of fits into that narrative that you just mentioned. I hope it's here. Victor, yes, Victor. So Victor today, he always did HR, okay? He had a few years in HR, and then he came to do the HR analytics program with us. And the moment he completed the HR analytics, he became a superstar, all right? Victor is somebody who we also bring back to help other people, because there is something that happens when you've always done something in the past. You have considerable years of experience. You also want to do a postgraduate in that area. And then you add the ability to analyze data. You add analytics into it. It makes you look like an expert in that area, because you'll be talking about the functional aspects of things as well as the analytics part of things as well. So you have two key skills that you can leverage. Now, how do you also get an advantage if you learn the HR analytics, which is where, for me, I'll tilt towards that aspect, and I would like you to have a think about it. Now, the difference between your HR analytics and the data analytics, and why, if you want to come back, you can always come back. Okay, I'll just quickly show you very quickly. Okay, yes, here. So as a HR analytics professional, you are learning problem solving, you are learning Excel and Power BI, okay? Those first three skills you learn, problem solving, Excel, Power BI, are solely data analytics skills, because you would also notice problem solving, Excel, and Power BI. So the skills you don't learn as a HR professional, as a HR analytics professional, SQL, Tableau, and data storytelling. Okay, now you've learned analytics skills in addition to your HR skills that you already have, and that gives you, the best of the two worlds you currently fit into. You have analytics, you have HR. If you learn data analytics, yes, you'd be very good with analyzing data, extracting insights, and doing all of those things, okay? Now, you'd easily complement what you currently have with analytics skills if you learn the HR analytics program, because you would go in as somebody who has extensive years of experience as a HR analytics professional, and it is more specialized. And organizations would look at you and say, look, we can't easily get a HR analytics professional. And we have a lady who has worked, I don't know how many years you've worked, Eloho, in HR before. If you've worked 3 years, you've worked 5 years, you can leverage on that and say, oh, I have 5-6 years experience as a HR analytics professional. And when you're talking to them, because you already have the experience in the past, you come across as somebody who is highly experienced within the area. So if you ask me, at the top of my head, I would say, go for the HR analytics program, okay? And that would help you complement the skills you already have. 5 years experience, that's absolutely phenomenal, all right? So you add 5 years to whatever, to the HR analytics, and then you come across as somebody who has 5 years experience doing HR analytics. And all you do is whatever you've done before in HR, you tailor those skills to include HR analytics, okay? So that would be my advice to you. And for the discount part, our programs are already heavily discounted. So, but for people who come back to us, for repeat customers, we make a concession available for them, all right? So all I'll just say, Eloho, is take it a step at a time. We'll definitely make a concession for you if you are coming back to learn any other program after you've learned one of the program, right? But all the fees you have here are already heavily discounted, but then we'll make that concession available for you, okay? Right. Your explanation is why I decided tonight to go for financial analytics as an accountant. Absolutely, Sunday. That makes a lot of sense. You need to register for the first program, Hamzat or Akola Day, first of all, before we can talk of a repeat. You need to be a repeat customer to get the discount, Hamzat. For the current programs, 500 Canadian dollars is the discounted fee, all right? The original fee is 600 Canadian dollars. If you're paying in Naira, it's 320,000 Naira. If you're paying in Naira, but the discounted fee is 270. So this is an early bird discount for just the first 20 people. And some people have made payments. I've gotten a couple of payments already, okay? So again, like I said, usually what happens is by Monday evening, all the slots are gone. So if it's something you want to do, you want to study financial analytics, you want to study data analytics, you want to study data science, all you have to do is do what? Take advantage of the discount and register, and then we help you get your journey started on the 1st of July, 2023. All right, these are amazing people who started their journey. This gentleman got a job that was last week, Wednesday, just 1 week ago. Sent me a message, oh boss, I got the job, saying that he also got 3 more offers. Apart from the job he just got, he got additional 3 offers. And he's saying, I really want to say, I appreciate you for this opportunity you gave to me. And I was also telling him that, look, the pleasure is all mine. Congratulations for taking the leap and joining. So that's the most difficult step, to take the leap to get started. Once you get started, there's no looking back. It's an immersive, intensive training program that takes you from where you are and to where you want to be eventually, all right? We're going to share the slides with you. We'll share the materials with you. If you join the WhatsApp group, you get it in your WhatsApp. If you got an email from us, you'd receive an email and we'll get the materials across to you. All right, thank you very much, guys. I hope you got value today for spending time with us. I would love to say have a wonderful week ahead of you. For those of you in Canada, it's still pretty much early for you. For those of you in the UK, it's very late. If you're in Nigeria, it's also very late. And I hope you have a wonderful week and have an amazing time. Cheers, guys.